Carlisle Select Board meeting on July 14th, 2026. We're going to start with some community input. Does anybody have any community input? Hearing, what's that?
We're letting a couple people in.
I see. We will wait.
Okay, now you might ask again.
Okay, we are open for community input. If anybody on the line has any community input. Hearing none, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 2. We're having a joint meeting with the Agricultural Commission. And if I understand correctly, it's a discussion. You guys are not a quorum, correct?
Right.
Why don't you go ahead and come forward? Thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Sure. Oh, handouts.
Nice.
Handouts, yeah. Hi, I'm Christine.
I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, John.
John, thank you.
Okay. Right to farm bylaw, okay. Do you want to walk us through the handout, or how do you want to structure our discussion?
I think John is going to start. We're going to actually keep this pretty brief, and we'll explain why.
Okay.
But go for it. John farmed for 43 years, so he is our resident farming expert.
In quotes. Okay, my name is John Lee. I live at 65 Lowell Street and have been in town for 35 or 40 years. We appreciate the invitation to come and meet with the select board. And we think it's very important for the Agricultural Commission and all of the land use related commissions to finally begin to get together. But I will say that from the Agricultural Commission's sort of point of view, we're relatively new, and that with the passage of the right to farm bylaw and the inauguration of the commission, we've sort of seen ourselves as a less than formal body that is met on an as-needs basis to sort out the relationships between, shall we say, abutting landowners and active agricultural enterprises, where occasionally there are misunderstandings, and try to iron those out. So we haven't been all that active, and I will say that we have occasionally had meetings where, you know, we've really gotten together mostly to discuss what's going on in Carlisle. There hasn't been, as you all have a very sober and lengthy agenda, that we often meet just to sort of iron out what's going on in Carlisle on an agricultural basis. But I think at this point, it's very clear that given recent history, or maybe it's not history, given the recent goings on in town, that there's an urgent need for all, the LSC, the Conservation Commission, the Agricultural Commission, and other land use related boards, whether even the Trails Committee perhaps, to not so much come to an understanding, but come to understand where we all are with regards to land use questions. What's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what lands, for instance, should we strongly designate as agricultural lands? What lands are, maybe not agricultural. Maybe they've been heretofore considered agricultural lands, but maybe the bog might be a case in point. Maybe that's no longer an agricultural property, but it is a conservation property. It is a property that might be considered for a lot of other things that are environmentally appropriate, but are no longer, I'm personally, perhaps off the record, I'm not sure that the bog can be resurrected as an agricultural property. And, the LSC or the CONSCOM or some other agency should be looking at as a butterfly habitat. it grows some of the best milkweed in town. And I know that there's at least 3 varieties of milkweed there. So, the point being that we are here to talk about how to make that work.
Okay.
But I will say that we do not have a charter, although I could probably show you one that would pass for a charter.
Well, the town thinks you have one.
We have
Yes.
one, John.
I don't think we ever called it a charter.
Well, we didn't call it that. Mission statement, perhaps.
Okay.
We do have a mission statement.
So the last meeting we had was June 8th, and it was all about having the event at Great Brook Farm.
Mhm.
And we're trying to raise awareness, especially let people get educated about what happens there, because there were a lot of misunderstandings. So when we got Gretchen's notice of this meeting, everybody was going to come, because it was go over the charter and plans for the year and priorities, and we've discussed all of that in meetings. But then, I don't mean to throw you under the bus, Christine. Christine sent this incredible email Sunday afternoon, and I read it about what she wanted us to address tonight. And it was fantastic. It was about, obviously, things you've talked about getting, all the committees, meeting with all the committees, really getting to know them, their priorities. And for AgCom, it asked to be able to discuss the long-term vision for ag, threats and opportunities, what can the town do to attract and support the next generation, how to evaluate land, and we do have farmers that can evaluate land for unrealized ag potential. What could the town do to promote and strengthen agriculture proactively? I mean, those are really important things for us to address. And we haven't had the time. We haven't had a meeting. We want to have a meeting. It might take a meeting or two to really hash this out. But I think it is such a great idea for the select board to do this, so that we end up working together and not negatively, not
Oh, yeah.
not all in their fiefdoms.
And I apologize
We
for-
love this idea. I've individually
Yeah.
talked.
Gretchen sent out a few high notes summarizing what we had discussed about in our planning meeting, and I sent, my longer set of thoughts, but a few days before, which is.
I don't know if
I didn't
that's
mean
why I
for-
named some of the things you mentioned, because I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know if they'd seen it, but
Just to the AgCom.
they haven't seen it yet. It is really well stated.
Yeah, no, it's-
Really,
it's-
really well stated, because
So it's,
and-
and I think, just as a bit of backdrop, I think it's probably going to be the first of many meetings that we have on land use topics. So it's not meant that we're going to settle everything tonight. Everything's defined, crisp and clear, and we all come out of here going, glad we got that figured out.
Right.
That's not going to be the case. So, but we can have the larger discussion. We do want to, one of the goals this year for the select board, yet to be voted on, but I'm pretty sure it's it's going to be a goal, is that we want to figure out a land use strategy, or at least a process to get to
Yeah.
a clear land use strategy for town.
Great.
Okay, so what
So we
what can
came
do?
to beg for a later meeting.
Sure.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
what question I have is, if we embark on this process to update the land use plan, is there, looking at your members, typically, we'll have a liaison to the select board, there should be a liaison to this effort, so maybe another thing, and maybe this was in your note, but another thing to discuss is among your members, who might have the willingness and bandwidth to participate in that process? Because I think if we are doing this, having someone or someones from AgCom participating along the way is going to be important. So it's not just periodically, here's what was discussed. So
Mhm.
something to think about on your end.
mhm. Yeah, we've been asked to have a liaison to LSC and CONSCOM, and I don't know with our 5 members. I mean, we need to figure that out, because
Yeah.
we obviously want to support it. It's just having the bandwidth.
And having that perspective in the room is obviously important as we're they're working through like you said, these different lands, like because there might be lands where you're like, yeah, this like the bog, and you have a clear perspective on it, and it would be really helpful to know from an agricultural standpoint which lands are like high priority, which lands are
yeah. Well, that's
and you could
what-
probably cut through a lot of discussion pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, well, that's what Christine was,
Yeah.
you need to send that out to everybody. It's really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it got me very excited about what AgCom could do, which is the long view, not this view and not just licenses, but really what does this town want, and what does this town, how can we do it? And satisfy all the different land groups, you know. So,
Well,
anyway.
To that extent, as in the land use, the long-term plan, if Carlisle is going to be an agriculturally friendly, as Ed has stated, how can we do that? And we shouldn't be just cobbling it along, well, this piece and then that piece, and then somebody else gets in trouble. No, I salute you for trying to organize a process, and we're on board.
Okay.
So
So you
anyway,
handled out the right to farm bylaw. John, why? And walk us through what you think is important. Why did we get this?
Because I don't know, I honestly don't know if any or all of you are familiar with it,
I am.
but it is why we exist.
Mhm.
So,
and the town voted it through town meeting.
Yeah.
We don't know how much you all know about the background of how AgCom kind of started and what they accomplished, which was doing the right to farm
Yeah.
bylaw.
Okay. The a couple of the topics that I highlighted for you guys in my email. Anytime I look at a board and the average age is, shall we say, over 40, I want to know like what the bench strength is. What are we doing to bring the next generation along, and what are we doing do we attract new farmers to Carlisle? I don't know what to say there. Do
Yeah.
we have a
Well, we're going to answer you after we have a meeting or
Okay.
two.
Recruit the next.
Okay.
I can think of some things, but I don't want to take up your time when we don't. I think it would be really interesting to have our whole team here,
Yes.
because everybody has a different lens, as you know, the same way you all do. It'd be a good conversation.
For sure.
So-
we're the two oldest,
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't commenting.
most elderly
Yeah. No.
members of the commission.
Most experienced.
But we both worked with young farmers, so.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
so.
Does
anyway.
anybody have any questions for Margie and John?
I just have something for the board to consider from a staff perspective. So if you think of the land that Carlisle owns as a portfolio, a certain percentage of it is agriculturally based. And I looked at other towns that are like ours and talked to some other town administrators and managers of town like ours. And one thing I learned, or that was interesting, is a lot of the time small towns supplement the management of land and the costs involved with that by licensing with agricultural farmers. So it's an exchange. So a lot of the land under our portfolio is currently managed by farmers. So I think the bog is illustrative. If the farming goes away from a piece of property, then if you don't have a plan in place for after that happens, or how that farmer is going to be succeeded, it can take a long time. In the bog's case, 10 years, and we still don't have a solution for what's next. And it's going to be very expensive to remediate that land or to change its use in any way. And that was an unintended consequence of the bog house decision and all of these things. And you own over 30 of these pieces. So if you took the aggregate of costs that would be there, let's say if you removed one particular farmer who's managing a lot of the land, you could imagine costs ballooning in a way that's not in the capital plan or any type of understanding. So I think why the staff is so focused on getting all of you to pay attention to land use is, A, it's politically sensitive, as we've seen, and not had a lot of fun with. And the second part is it could be extremely expensive. And it's really going to cut into your other priorities.
I have a high-level question that I think when we talk about, from where I sit, we have all 30 lands, and you talked about Fox Run and how that process. If you try to multiply that times 30, it's a lot of time. I guess my question is, you're familiar with the agricultural parcels and the land in general. Of the 30 parcels in Carlisle, how many would you say are like high priority from an agricultural standpoint, or maybe controversial from an agricultural standpoint? Because I'm trying to get a sense of, do we really need to do all 30? Which one should we be focusing on? How do we break up this large effort and really focus on what might be the key parcels? And I'm
Can
just
we get
curious
back
on
to you
your.
on that?
Yeah. Well, I know of a couple offhand,
Yeah,
based on
we-
recent experience, but I don't know. Is it like, are all 30, like, as you said, there's
Probably
probably a
not.
handful that are
No.
really like need a lot of attention and consideration.
Yeah,
And getting our heads around that, I think, is
Right.
important.
not all 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not all 30. I mean, I guess one of the questions might be in the long run, are there any that are maybe marginally agricultural, but are of significant viewshed value, and are they worth investing in for that reason? After,
Yeah.
I don't know, 20 years on the Conservation Commission, I can tell you that it's hard to find out-of-town farmers who want to come to Carlisle.
Yeah.
Mark Duffy is a truly unique character in that he farms in Carlisle and Concord, I think maybe even in Billerica. He's a really a unique farmer in terms of his ability to manage and use land, not only in Carlisle, but in other towns. I think finding his replacement or his twin is going to be a real problem.
We had, when we went around with him, I didn't realize, he is really a cutting-edge farmer. I mean, the sustainability aspect and what he is doing is amazing. And if, maybe we'll do another thing. We were hoping people, that some of the commissions would come to the event that we had a couple of weeks ago. But, to see, he was the first farm to do the
robotic
robotic
dairy, yeah.
milking. I mean, he has done a lot of really innovative stuff at this town. I was so proud leaving there. So, anyway,
And
but we're
he's-
not gonna take all our half hour.
Oh, we're actually way ahead of schedule. Our next agenda item isn't for another,
Well,
we've
I
got
don't know.
20 minutes.
So I could dig myself into a deeper hole.
Yes, I'm next to a time bomb here. So,
Well,
Okay.
if you have no further use for us,
I wouldn't
Anyway,
put it
Not
that
tonight,
way.
I think that we will in the,
Well, how about to be continued?
to be
then?
continued
yeah.
for sure.
TBD.
So how should we proceed? I think we need, because obviously of open meeting law, how many meetings do you think we need before we sort out?
at least two.
Yeah, we probably need 2 meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have people on AgCom that travel like to Japan and,
Great.
so it's not something where we can set things up regularly.
Yeah, we understand.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Hey, thank you
Get
for,
back to
thank
us
you for
for-
this initiative.
Absolutely.
thank
This is
you.
well thought
You
out.
won't be thanking us in a few months.
Well,
This is the fun part,
at
right?
least
Is
you're
this
interested.
forewarned is forearmed?
Well, yeah. and-
Seriously, yeah.
Well, and I
that's
think
great.
last year we all lived through what happens when you don't have a plan or process
Yeah.
in place. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
And you're an important
Yeah.
part of Carlisle, no
Yeah.
question about
You
it.
don't want
Yeah.
to- you
The
don't
ag,
want
the
to.
ag is.
Absolutely.
For the
Absolutely.
kids,
The-
for
Everybody.
families, everybody,
Yeah.
so.
The
good.
view shed, right? Is that what, is
Yeah.
that
And
the term?
view
View
shed.
shed? I
Oh,
guess a new
I like
one.
that.
Oh, Scott, we gotta give him some vocabulary.
View shed.
Ag vocab.
Write it down. There's 2 4-letter
Yeah.
words.
That's next to the culvert term. What was the culvert
All right.
term?
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time
Thank you very
tonight.
much.
What was the culvert?
There was a weird
Bank width,
no, what was it?
bank something.
There was a culvert term. They were like, what? I like view
Bank
shed.
width. That's what it was.
I'll be overusing that term for the rest of the year.
Okay. We are running significantly ahead of schedule.
Good.
The next item on our agenda is transfer station policy update, and we do have a vote associated with that.
I don't think,
Do we have
I
anybody
don't think
here?
he's
We might
here
need to
yet.
wait.
Tom's not here yet.
We're running
So
way
sometimes we-
early.
We can flip to.
How about we finalize our goals? That's something that doesn't depend on anybody but us.
That could be a longer.
That could be a discussion.
A little longer. I was
Marijuana waiver?
Thinking of some of the.
Light them up.
I think you have a lot of appointments.
Yeah, we could start.
Okay, we do have a
Yeah,
lot.
there we go.
Okay, let's go through, okay, we're up to item 8. Woohoo! So we do have a number of appointments tonight. Looking at those in the packet,
Let me get to the motion. Oh, boy.
okay, what page is it on?
I just pulled up the individual file.
It's PDF 26.
26.
There's the,
Charter update?
there's a crack thing, yeah.
Volunteer appointments. Yeah, 27. Continued.
Right. I missed that last time.
Okay, so
I strategically stepped out from that one.
why don't we go ahead and get through these? Who wants to propose the motions?
Do we want to start with the appointments versus the charter update?
Yeah.
Appointments.
Okay.
So some of the appointments are dependent on the charter.
Oh,
So you gotta do
okay.
the charter first.
Let's do the charter first. Charter
What's-
update.
What's the executive summary on that one? This is just,
It's either membership clarification or changes.
okay.
I say this lightly, but we don't deem any of them to be controversial, just more of an organizational.
Clean up?
It's,
Clean up.
it's the number of
Number of members
and
on crack.
how they're.
And
Because currently it's what? Is it kind of 7, or we're just formalizing it? Or are we changing the number?
the committee is 7. 3 are going to be at large.
Okay.
But if no, oh my goodness, yeah.
You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'm assuming this came through from conservation? Like, there's nobody opposing this, or?
No.
Okay. Do you want to make the motion, Charles?
I move to amend the membership of the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee as described below. Do I have to read the whole motion? Is that part of the motion?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Membership, the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee, the committee, shall be appointed by the Select Board. The committee shall be comprised of 7 members. 3 members shall be at-large members. The Planning Board, Conservation Commission, Trails Committee, and Carlisle Conservation Foundation shall each be entitled to nominate a designee to the committee as a fully participating member. However, if no designee is nominated, the above-mentioned bodies shall appoint liaisons, and the remaining committee appointments shall be filled by additional at-large members, with a preference for those who have prior experience on one of the listed bodies. Term, the Select Board shall appoint the members of the committee, and the terms shall be staggered 3-year terms.
I'll second. I have a question.
I have a question, too.
So my question is, it might be the same, Travis, is there a specific time frame on no designee is nominated? I know we often have open slots on committees coming out of town meeting, and maybe it takes a month or 2. At what point do you say we're gonna fill it with an at-large versus a nominee?
It's not stated here, but I would say the fall is typically
Okay.
our practice. So
We-
through
and-
the summer, and there's no,
And we don't have to specify, we can just work with that?
Yes.
Okay.
as it exists right now, they all expire in 2026, and they have to be appointed. So it is difficult to manage, and this clarifies it, and it also formalizes the CCF relationship.
Okay. And ultimately, it would be the select board that would make the appointment regardless. So if we wanted to give it more time, so to speak, we could. Okay.
Similar.
Did you have the same question, Travis?
Similar, yeah.
Okay.
That's on timing. Okay.
Okay.
Do you?
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? We do have a second. Voice vote?
Sure.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no votes?
Oh, I just want to make sure you're clear on, we didn't do a roll call to start the meeting or whatever?
Did we?
Well, you can do one now.
All
Okay.
here, though.
Should we do a roll call vote?
Well, no, but we're
Or
all
just a roll
here
call?
physically. We have no one.
Yeah, but we have one member absent.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's moved, right? Do we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
nothing else? Okay. And then there was another, I see there's another
Yeah.
vote right here.
Yeah, volunteer appointments.
Yep, I can do those.
Well, what is the?
There's one more.
Oh,
related
move to
ESC?
amend
Yeah.
membership, sorry.
Move to abolish the environmental system. I'm just kidding. No. Just seeing if you're paying attention. She's awake. I move to amend the membership of the Environmental Sustainability Committee to remove associate members. Is that, okay.
I second that.
Okay.
Any
Any,
comment on that from your perspective?
We've had a hard time filling them, and it was suggested, I think, second year in, to actually have associate members so that they could help fill the quorum, but then we found out from the town clerk that actually we cannot use associate members to complete a quorum. And so we just figured we'd clean it all up and have official volunteers the way Trails Committee has on specific projects.
okay.
Thank you.
Probably good. Okay, so it was moved, we had a second, that was our discussion and deliberation. Any other discussion, deliberation? Okay, let's take a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any no votes? Okay, it is moved. And then we have volunteer appointments,
I can go through these if you want.
okay?
I move to appoint Heidi Herring of West Street to the Celebrations and Veterans Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2029. Are we going
We go through all of them?
I think you can read them all and
Okay.
approve them all.
and just say hold if you want. I'll use Wayne's playbook on this one. I move to appoint Ken Hart of Estabrook Road as an at-large member to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2028. Move to appoint Madeline Blake of Carlton Road as an at-large member to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2029. Move to appoint Rick Oches of Rockland Road as the Carlisle Conservation Foundation representative to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2027. Move to appoint Sylvia Willard as the Conservation Commission representative to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2027. And move to appoint Mark Lemaire as the Trails Committee representative to the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2027. Oh, there is a page break, okay. Move to appoint Sarah Dunleavy of Fisk Street to the Environmental Sustainability Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2027. Move to appoint Emmanuel Crespo of Cross Street as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to end June 30th, 2029. Move to appoint Eric Adams of Acton Road as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to end June 30th, 2029. Move to appoint Ian Applegate of Robbins Road as an associate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to end June 30th, 2029. And move to appoint Mark Bernstein of Peter Hans Road as an associate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to end June 30, 2028.
I second that motion.
Thank you very
And
much.
we discussed, I know at a former meeting, Mark obviously is on FinCom, but we did say that we were okay with him serving on this committee, correct?
We reviewed it with council.
Yep.
And there's no financial overlap, as would happen with most committees.
Yep.
So this one would be acceptable.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion or deliberation? Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it.
Awesome.
I do have a note here about the Affordable Housing Trust representative. That is not in the packet. Is that right, Ryan?
That paper has 2 additional appointments.
So the first one was on here. It was exactly as written in here.
Then just the one.
So just the one. Okay. Sorry, can we do that one as well?
Sure, you can do it.
I move to appoint Maureen Cosgrove Deary as the Affordable Housing Trust representative to the Community Preservation Committee with a term to end June 30th, 2027.
Second?
Thank you very much. Any discussion or deliberation? Okay, let's go ahead and do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, and the ayes have it. Is that it for appointments, Ryan?
That's it.
Looks like
Oh,
it.
whew.
How are we looking overall in terms of vacancies?
Better.
Better, yeah.
I would say over 80%.
We're not turning people away yet, though, are we?
No, we're not. We welcome all volunteers.
Including I saw there's a vacant seat on AgCom. So for all of you listening out there.
That's right. Okay, what can we do that takes 5 minutes?
Town meeting warrant,
Sounds-
minutes, and
Oh, yeah.
cemetery deeds are all good candidates.
Okay, let's open the special town meeting warrant.
Ooh.
What page will that be on?
47, PDF 47.
Special town meeting, boom. I'm not.
Okay,
So I move to open the warrant for the special town meeting scheduled for Monday, November 16th, 2026.
can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Any discussion?
Any discussion or deliberation on that?
Just the schedule for the town meeting based on this vote. We're suggesting and recommending that it close on August 25th. That the bylaw language is due to me for legal counsel review by September 28th. That the final language to include that review of counsel is completed by October 5th. And that the warrant would be posted on October 28th, which gives you, if you go by the October 5th date, more than a month for final language to be reviewed by boards, committees, and this board.
And that's been posted, I know I've seen that, right, Ryan?
We sent a warning order to everybody, and after you approve it tonight, we will send it out again and post it online.
Okay,
Mm.
great, thank you.
And this will be Monday. We don't need to set a specific time yet, but I'm assuming it'll be a Monday, like 6 o'clock
Yes, and we've reserved the cafeteria,
as well. Okay.
Corey Auditorium, not the cafeteria.
Early alert.
But we reserve that as well, just in case.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion or deliberation? Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it.
And I assume Wayne's, yeah, we
And
we go.
cemetery deeds, item 12.
going fast. Hold on.
Think we'll get out of here early tonight?
I hope so.
This is baseball.
Oh, All-Star game, right?
Move along here. I'm just gonna use-
We can put it up. We can put it up on the back screen.
I'm just here as a dinner date.
Oh, wow. Lucky you.
I like your town though. All those bent winding roads at night must be hell, my God, you can't.
I think this might be a first that we're formed for a dinner date. Is that on the agenda?
Is there,
Small talk, I know.
is there an agenda item that you were here for?
We are, we're actually here for PJ Keating.
We're actually here to just see if that's on the agenda for tonight for approval
Approval
of that bid for highway.
highway
the
maintenance.
highway
Oh, the
contract.
highway.
Was on this agenda, this.
Yep.
So that's gonna be,
Pardon me?
that's gonna be closer to the end of the night.
So last,
I was
okay,
afraid of that.
we'll be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, as long as it takes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there an item, is there cemetery deeds in the packet?
There are.
All right, I don't see
So-
a motion, though.
There's just one.
Yeah,
It's just, right. It's Bert and Celia.
right.
All right, I can,
Do you have the motion?
get you a motion.
Oh, there's no motion.
Well, it's right in the agenda.
Oh, it's in the agenda?
I guess we can make a motion out of that. Item 12.
Okay,
Move to deed 881 to Sylvia and Bert Willard of Bellows Hill Road for C17 Grave 2.
So I'm going to offer a slight amendment.
Yeah.
So move to transfer land in the public burial ground at Green Cemetery as described, and then the deed.
Okay. I move to transfer land in the public burial ground
At Green
at
Cemetery.
Green Cemetery,
And
as
then-
described in the deed 881 to Sylvia and Bert Willard of Bellows Hill Road for C17 Grave 2.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, any discussion or deliberation on that?
Yes,
Are you-
staff,
Yes?
staff never dies, so we'll never execute that deed.
Oh.
We all talked about how it hits a little different when you know the person.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I
Okay.
signed my own deed.
You have signed your own deed? Oh, that's
A little morbid.
sobering, yes. Okay, so we, the ayes have it on that one. There's nothing else on that one, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
I think
We're on time, but do we have people online for the Transfer Station Action Committee?
should be Tom. right?
Supposed to be Tom. It's unlike him to not be here.
Right.
But I can represent.
We could move on to one other item and maybe he shows up in the next 5 minutes.
Also possible. So you've seen this one before. The amendment is to the transfer station policies, and the ad is for parking that states parking within the transfer station is limited to 15 minutes. This requirement is necessary to assure adequate traffic flow. If you are parked longer than 15 minutes, a transfer station attendant may ask you to move your car outside the transfer station and park elsewhere where it is legal to do so. This was recommended by Director Jim Hall to the TSAC. They took it up, and they are recommending it to you for policy change.
Is there any, from your vantage point, anything controversial around this, or I mean, it seems pretty common sense to me.
It's designed to keep flow from happening. The swap shed is very popular, and people can park at it for a long time, and there's just no policy that allows those people to move along and come back if they need to. So this just clarifies that and gives staff some ability to keep it functioning correctly.
And staff's on board with this.
Staff is asking for it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, can I
Just
hear?
when you try to enforce something at the transfer station and it isn't an actual policy, it can become a debate. And we don't want our transfer station attendants debating with residents,
Yep.
because we lose there.
Okay,
So I move to amend the Carlisle Recycling and Transfer Station regulations to add a parking limit provision as included in the packet.
can I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, let's do a voice vote. All
This-
in, oh, go
I
ahead.
just have a question. Does this amend the state, this is the regulations in the,
There's some red font down below that shows what this
that shows-
change is.
Yeah,
It adds that section to their current
There
policy.
was
Oh.
no parking.
there was,
was.
right. No, it adds it at the, I read it in there.
Okay.
But I just had some questions on the actual, if we're amending the recycling and transfer station regulations. I actually wanted to offer another amendment or thoughts. I wanted to talk about it.
Okay.
So while we're on it,
Okay,
can we do that?
yeah.
Maybe should we pass this particular one and then we can
This
open it up?
doesn't, yeah, this doesn't impact that, so,
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe close this one and then we can,
And then,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be better if Tom were here.
It would be.
Otherwise,
Wow.
we're
It
talking
would be.
amongst ourselves, but yes, we can do that. Okay, did we vote?
No.
No.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Dave
Yeah, I said-
seconded.
Second.
Seconded? Okay.
So, any other discussion or deliberation on this particular point? Okay. Voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it. And we will have a parking limit of 15 minutes. Okay, what other,
On this, if you have that in front of you.
I do.
So I noticed in there that it says current identification sticker permanently affixed to the front bumper.
Yeah.
And that's also in the section below, all passenger cars must have the identification sticker affixed to the vehicle's front bumper. I didn't know if we wanted to
Revise it.
revise it. 'cause
yeah, mine's on, I can't put it on a car. It just Ruins the resale value, messes up.
But we can talk to Tom about that. I
Yes,
don't think
we
we
can.
did, but I just
We
wanted to
would
bring
just be
that.
talking amongst ourselves
Right.
if we did that right now. But yes, I hear you on that. Is that what your point is?
That
It
was my
doesn't have to
point.
be affixed to the car?
My
Yeah.
point, yes.
Yeah.
Because it is identified with you individually or with your vehicle, so.
I think they're
it's-
worried that, if you have it
You
on a little,
transfer, you
then
hand
yeah,
it.
you just hand it off and
Well, we can let them talk.
all chaos will ensue, I'm sure. Okay, next topic is,
Well, it's not on the bumper anymore.
it's not on the bumper.
It's
The
on the
glass,
windshield.
inside
So-
the.
Oh,
so
on the
it is-
windshield.
So that
Oh,
would
I don't
be
even have it on
that
the, I don't even
minor-
have it on the
I
windshield.
think we should put it back on the bumper,
I
per,
like-
per the regulations.
Right, require it. You don't have.
Please, God, no.
I moved, I hereby.
Okay, we're at 7:40.
Would,
Go ahead.
would it be possible to move up the road maintenance, just given we have people here?
That's what I feel like.
I don't-
Is that
I
your
don't-
TA report
Or
Brian?
that piece of it? I don't know if, there wasn't much time allocated to it. I don't know how controversial or how much discussion.
I'd be happy to do that part.
Maureen, was there a topic that you were interested in? Got it. Okay.
Okay, so this year's road maintenance plan was consistent with the plan discussed last year in the fall, and then the resources you allocated for it to at the town meeting, which includes the warrant article and then any state money called Chapter 90 that came in. So we bid it in chunks in order to make sure that we didn't fully eat into our funds and to give you options. So the primary bid included Heald Road, Pope Road, South Street, West Street, Judy Farm Road, and the designed Audubon Lane drainage, as this board directed us to do. The alternate bid included North Road, Indian Hill Road, and North Road and Indian Hill Road, and the third bid was all of Autumn Lane. So those aren't numbered right. It should be alternate 1 and alternate 2.
Okay.
Alternate 1 and alternate.
Instead, it says alternate bid 2, alternate bid 3. Mhm.
Yeah, so this is just listed wrong. So North Road is alternate 2.
How about down
1.
below, Ryan? It says alternate 1,
So
alternate 2, alternate.
the primary bid is on the left. The alternate bid is North Road. That's 1. Indian Hill Road is 2.
I see.
But the amounts down below are.
Those are correct?
Those are correct, yeah.
Okay.
And you had some commentary about the bid amounts and the reserve.
Yes, so the base bid and the alternates are totaled as shown for a total of $738,339.
Yep.
We had projected that to be $900,000, so fuel prices and a competitive bid process resulted in a positive bid for us. So in terms of available funds, from various warrant articles already approved, 25 and 26, you have 184,285 left that are not accounted for or contracted currently, so that is a true reserve. Your Chapter 90 reserve is 454,285, and your projected Chapter 90 funds for this year, which have not come in but normally come in like today, is 430,000. So your total is 1.1 million. So if you were to approve the entire plan, you would be slightly below 400,000 in reserve. So when we presented this to you last year, that number was under 100,000, which you had expressed some discomfort in. So we are recommending you approve the entire plan, but we wanted to check with you.
Okay, so thoughts on this?
The addition of the reserve, just what's your intent with that? Is that, do we use that in the coming year, some of it potentially for emergency? Or is that just gonna be pushed forward into the next year, do you think?
Yeah, so if you see the Chapter 90 reserve total there,
Yep,
it would be less than, so we're eating into the reserve.
okay.
We also would like to back up the connected Carlisle sidewalk project, because that's not fully funded.
Right.
It could be up to 200,000 of that. And then you're correct, there is always the concern of a mid-year adjustment that's needed, a road failure or something that we can use Chapter 90 for. We typically don't, because we try to plan correctly, but that's there. So we would reconfigure our 5-year plan have your annual road discussion with the residents, and then show you where you're at again in the coming year. The good news is, we have more reserve than we thought, and Bedford Road is gonna be state funded, so our 5-year plan becomes a 4-year plan, and then you can add more roads and make people happy 4 years from now.
But we still have culverts and all the
Sidewalks.
other things.
So this does not include the culvert money,
Right.
which is gonna be its own budget.
I'm also concerned about more like the, just what we're seeing like with Autumn Lane or in other areas where we have these larger rainfalls and these different situations arising where it's not draining properly. We have these issues suddenly of a development goes in or something happens and the water's diverted. So I imagine we'll have more of those popping up in different places as well that we don't have today. So
Audubon, is that-
more cases like where you have, or just street flooding or neighborhood flooding.
Mhm.
So I think just having a healthy reserve is important.
So you're saying, Ryan, the suggestion is to have the reserve, and then that reserve may be doled up in certain ways, some of which might be to fund the sidewalk project, some might, mid-year things pop up, got it, but just to have that, what is it, 300K or whatever, in reserve.
So you could just accept the base bid, and then you have to go in order, alternate 1, 2, and 3. So we're saying you should accept the entire package,
Right.
but you could create more contingency than you have now. Or you could do nothing and have 1.1 million. I mean, that's obviously absurd, but,
And we need to vote on this?
yeah, the reason why our friends are here as well is because different bidders would win depending on how many alternates are selected.
Okay. Do you have? a
We're
co-
with PJ Key.
They probably should not be included in your discussion.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But they're very interested.
I vote aye.
Well, strike it from the record.
Carry on.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there is a motion on, what are we on, page 49? No, where are we at? I think I'm on page 49.
Yeah, this is all good news, which is probably why it's a little confusing.
It is, yeah, I'm not
But
used to
the-
having to
but
compete
the-
priorities.
So the town meeting allows us to spend Chapter 90 outside of
Yeah.
town meeting appropriation. So we feel, as a staff, especially a finance team, that we need to continue to bring you these numbers and these decision points so that you know where that money's going.
Yeah.
So that's all this is. So this is, usually we're trying to scrape together some
I
money.
know,
In this
yeah.
particular instance,
You caught us
It's a good
totally off
news.
guard. We don't know how to handle this.
but that doesn't mean we just want to assume that you're just going to approve it. So
Okay.
we want to make sure that you're tracking.
And Jim's, I'm assuming, on board, DPW is on board with that recommendation.
Yeah, so if you remember,
Yep.
our plan is to maintain C-plus roads with additional investment each year. So this,
These are all bad roads.
yes.
This is really bad.
So we could do more, but this is a way of balancing, getting stuff done with having enough ammunition to face whatever comes.
Oh, did anybody read the editorial in the Boston Globe about how maybe potholes are the best way to mitigate speed on
Yes.
roads?
David Modell had suggested.
We've had that where it's like now it's paved and everyone's driving fast. I don't think that should be our goal, but
No,
it was a timely article.
that is funny.
If anyone's, I'd have moved to approve all of them.
All right, does anybody not? I guess that's our vote. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do the vote then. Can I hear a motion?
What do you need? What do you need, Ryan? Do you need us to move?
There's a motion.
Oh, there is. Sorry.
I move to approve the road maintenance plan and authorize the town administrator to contract with the lowest responsive and responsible bidder.
Can we hear a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion or deliberation? Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to clarify, that's the complete package, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't mention the bidder by name, which is fine, you don't have to, but.
That's my job.
But like
Yeah.
as you said, it does make a difference, that's why,
Yep.
say that, and I'm assuming that's accepting the package.
Including the 3 alternates. Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
So just if you look up, because, I like to over-explain. Here was the road maintenance plan as presented to you. So we were projecting a negative reserve and the inability to pave all of these roads. Now, the reason why the reserve is higher is not just because the bid came in lower, but because other projects return funds that we didn't expect, because we try to estimate conservatively. So this is the entire slate to include your priority roads and your DPW priority roads. So next year, your funding will roll into the next attempt at deferred maintenance and allow you more flexibility. And then what I was talking about in '28, everything in green is being paid for by the state and being done in the next 12 months. So that opens up that plan even more. So we're gonna be able to move some things up.
Excellent.
And the chapter 90, when we talk about paving, and what else can it be, what other aspects of road maintenance can it be used for?
There's not a lot of restriction. So you can buy equipment that allows you to maintain roads. You can study roads. You can do all the things that would allow you to make good decisions on road maintenance.
Snow and ice? No.
Not really.
But like street sweeping and things like that, because I know, like, there's other things we could potentially, road maintenance is not just paving, so I think we should look at that and just make sure we're.
So, I mean, of course, I'm not commenting on necessarily Carlisle, but these budgets can be buried, and it's really its own budget, so we're
Yeah.
trying to make it as transparent
Yep.
as possible. Because there are communities that use this money if they don't get a town meeting vote to buy equipment, right? There's
Mhm.
other ways to fund capital, and that might be a choice you make, but there's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose a road or two.
Right.
And I get more complaints about roads than anything else, so.
You do.
Yeah.
That's good, actually.
This week, actually.
Oh. Maybe we work our way up to a B minus.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would
Overreaching.
require 200 grand more a year.
Yeah.
Well,
Generally, I know we haven't said it, but when are we talking about the roads again?
In the early fall.
Early fall.
Yeah, we'll start advertising in August and schedule that meeting to talk about the plan. And this year, we're gonna add culverts too, so.
right.
Okay, anything else on road maintenance then that needs our attention? Nope.
That's it.
Okay, it is 7:52. Why don't we go ahead and move on to,
Your goal.
oh, marijuana waiver. It's practically 8 o'clock, right?
Don't take it personally.
No, no, we.
Good, unless you
You're
want to talk
good.
marijuana, we're
Very narrow
good.
focus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
Your
you.
roads are in good hands.
Yeah.
great.
Have a lovely evening.
You
Thank
too.
Fantastic.
Okay, where are we on marijuana?
I thought he was here for a road. Nope.
Okay, what are we discussing on marijuana waiver? There's nothing in the packet. I did see,
So you had your goals too, when,
right, we do have goals as well. Should we do goals first? We're kind of jumping all around tonight.
Yeah.
I'm happy to discuss marijuana too, if you want.
Let's do marijuana first. We're
Makes
there.
our goals easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so this can be, I'd like to set this up by saying we can bring in an expert from the Cannabis Commission or a lawyer, et cetera, to discuss any of this with you. We didn't necessarily think that was the case or that you'd want that, but that is possible, so don't feel like this is the only information available to you. But the short version of this is the new state law allows companies that sell marijuana to deliver it to homes. So kind of Uber for marijuana, Uber Eats for marijuana. It is allowed statewide by right unless a municipality opts out. And the only way you can opt out is if you don't have a marijuana establishment, which Carlisle does not. So this means it's a decision for you whether or not you want to opt out of this. If you don't opt out, then delivery is allowed in the town. If you do opt out, then you have a 2-year waiver. Well, I'm assuming they discuss this at the state level and have some other option. So your decision is to apply for that opt-out and that 2-year waiver, or to actively not apply and know that delivery would then be allowed in Carlisle.
And this is a select board decision?
Yes.
Amazing.
That's weird. That feels like a town meeting type thing.
It's very similar to your alcohol license, which is why I think that decision was made.
Oh, interesting.
And there was I'm not saying this is why this is necessarily made, but that there was a ballot about this, where towns were allowed to accept or not. So I think that's why they put the authority at the select board level. You could make it a referendum and bring it to town meeting as well. You have that option.
If we were to apply for the waiver, how would we even know if marijuana is being delivered in town?
It's a good question.
We wouldn't know one way or the other. And this reminds me of a conversation we had earlier on, God, what topic were we talking about? Where we said, why would we pass something when we can't enforce it? Oh, transfer station.
Oh, the way, yeah.
With the,
So if someone was delivering in the town, that would be enforceable. It's just whether or
wouldn't
not
know.
you would know.
we would have no idea.
Well, it might be on an app, and maybe these, you know, I think
of the
I have an
dispensaries are
analogy to Uber Eats, you know, they,
Yeah.
if they were prohibited from a town, as a company, they would know that, and
They
have
don't
their legal
deliver.
department would say, okay, and they circle that town, and they're like, okay, we don't deliver. I
in
mean,
Carlisle. I see. Yeah, but you're counting on them to,
So I
You know.
I researched this a little bit, and they have to be licensed. It's not just some
Yeah.
kid who
Yeah.
shows up and.
delivering pizza.
Well, it could be, but that would be, that would be what this is.
There's a lot of,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
can't deliver past certain times.
Right.
I see.
And things like that. They can only handle so much. They have to verify ID, kind of like if you have alcohol delivered to your house. So there are regulations, it's not just some guy
Yeah.
driving around.
This seems like the classics thing where the waiver restricts actually the lawful activity versus the unlawful. And I mean,
So we didn't anticipate that tonight you'd be like, this is what we necessarily want to decide. We know this is a topic that may or may not garner attention, so what do you want us to do with it? Do you want to invite the public to talk to you about it? Is it just fine, you're going to opt out, et cetera? But we had to bring it to you because,
Yeah, I think this is good public policy, like, and how do we want to involve the public in this discussion? I mean, I would definitely think we, not vote tonight on this, because we haven't had any kind of input from
No
anyone.
deliberation whatsoever,
But
yeah.
hopefully the mosquito or someone can bring this to light, and maybe there'll be, people can reach out to us individually, as they do, by email or however, or they can show up and we can have another meeting and to discuss it.
but the default action of doing nothing you have to take action to opt out.
correct.
So,
Is there a time limit?
It wasn't clear in my research, I don't know if it was in yours, but for me, you have a town meeting deadline. If you wanted to bring this to town meeting or add it to an election ballot, I wouldn't sit on it, because this law tends to go quick. These discussions tend to go quick.
do you have any information on towns that have opted out? Is there? No.
And
Yeah.
again, you can't opt out if you have a marijuana establishment, and a lot of towns do.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't really. I don't have a strong reason to opt out, but I haven't given it any thought. So I'd be curious if there's any public interest and/or position on that. I haven't heard any.
So I can gather data, and then advertise a public input session, or
We can schedule something like that. I'm guessing not schedule too much time for it. Probably one of those things where,
If people feel strongly, they'll show up.
yeah. And if I don't know how you guys feel, but if no one's really interested, or I don't see, my default would be I'd want to see some reason to opt out.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I don't sitting here tonight, I don't have a reason to say we should opt out, but I'm open to that argument if it's out there.
Well, the only argument I could make would be that the town opted out. We did this through a town vote or not?
Earlier, that was the vote.
That was a town vote, right?
The original vote was.
The original vote was a town to opt out. 132 cities and towns, roughly 38% of the
Right.
351, enacted bans on adult use cannabis businesses.
On the business, right?
Yeah,
As
yeah.
opposed to.
As opposed to delivery.
Delivery,
right.
right.
And you're right, this is different, because this isn't about, okay, we now have to locate an area for growing it, or we have to locate an area to sell it, This is, those were considerations in the last vote,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there was a land use component to the last
There was.
vote, too.
Would the COAHS have a perspective on this? Like, who would have a insight into this issue? Like, I don't know, people that use marijuana medically might have a need for delivery.
It does not apply to that.
Does not apply to medical.
That is your question? Yeah, no, they can't.
You want to just state your, yes.
There's this COA, who I happen to know, that use it medically, and they can't get it, because the closest place is apparently in Maynard, so they do have to have it delivered, and usually a friend has to pick it up.
Oh,
And so, but it's medically, I think, if that's not included, it's not really a problem, but.
Do
I'm
we have-
sorry. Maureen, we technically needed your name and your address.
Maureen Cosgrove, DA South Street.
Okay, thank you very much.
And is the picture of the mosquito that I'm seeing there? I don't know. It would be good to
Is that
get.
you?
Is that a budding peonies?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's
Yeah.
Mary Lynn.
It would be good to get a feel if this is an issue.
Yeah, I don't know, so.
It hasn't been on my radar, so I don't.
Is there a way to collect public comment just by having people write to, you, Ryan, and then, raise their hand and say, I have a comment?
So normally
Or me,
we
wherever, send them.
we advertise that you're going to be discussing it on said date,
Yeah,
and then we tell people to send Gretchen emails, and then we consolidate them. Sometimes we get a ton, and sometimes we get none. But
Yeah.
okay,
If someone were to put something on City in the Woods or something, it'd be interesting to,
yeah,
or any of the other social media platforms.
Yeah.
They're not official, things of the
Temperature,
town. but-
temperature gauges.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
Everyone
just,
throw-
they're
throw
temperature.
that grenade into
Yeah. Well,
Ryan, to opt out, I'm assuming it's not a bylaw or anything, so we.
a vote and a form.
So if we had it on an agenda in like September and we deemed there was a lot of interest to opt out, we wanted to put it on town meeting, it would be easy to add. It's not like a complex.
is there a comment?
well, Mary Lynn just texted and
Okay.
said we could put an editorial in the mosquito if. she
Oh,
was
okay, that's a good solution.
Commenting on it. I don't know if that's.
Is that a good
But
solution,
we-
Ryan?
We just need
Just,
someone to.
just someone, yeah, to, well,
Yeah, okay, so I think we already spent too much time going round and round on what our approach is. Let's have a public comment, indications of interest to Gretchen, and we'll hear them on the next agenda. And let's get this over with, because I feel like this is something mainly because we don't know how the town wants us to proceed, for lack of anything else. But knowing that it doesn't pertain to medical, I kind of feel like that was the one issue that came up. Okay, so there's just discussion on this one. Do we want to do goals now? That's,
Nope.
is that 15 minutes? Yeah,
Nope.
let's do goals. Oh,
We have.
Oh, hey, Julie, how are you?
At
good.
8:15, okay. Yeah, we could do,
whatever you'd like.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's finalize our goals real quick. I hope real quick. I don't know, did everyone have a chance to take a look at it? We had a couple go-rounds this afternoon, it looks like.
yeah, what was the last, that was Gretchen's that she sent out?
She sent something this afternoon.
It would, I think, be helpful to put it up on the screen so we
It
can
would.
see where we are with the latest, where we stand. I think where we stand is,
Draft 3. Is that the latest one? Review. Changes.
Okay.
This is
So
where
Ryan,
da-
do I have this right? This is the accepted language here, this is the clean copy, and then are the track changes are shown in the packet below? Is that right?
I didn't
Yes.
see the.
Okay. So I do see some revisions on the copy below. Do we want to walk through those? Okay. Scott, we didn't want to presume that we do another study.
Yeah.
Present a path to secure any.
I'm just sensitive, the Highland Building has had all these
Oh,
multiple
yes.
studies done, and I don't
I
necessarily
see.
want to set an expectation that maybe we do, but I don't want to
No.
say at the outset our goal is to spend yet another $50,000, $70,000 on a feasibility study. Maybe that's
Yeah.
where it takes us, but I just didn't.
You
there's
don't
so
want
much
to
history.
presume that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're presenting a path forward. That's the
Yeah.
goal. Okay, got it.
Minor thing, but
Right. And then we struck the sentence, present the model at town meeting to improve public understanding of the town's tax rate, long-term financial outlook.
it's
and
just shortening it up.
capital. Yeah, that's good.
And I think we
Little
talked about,
Tighter.
the plan to present the State of the Union, so to speak.
Yep, we did.
That's fine.
And then on complete streets, devise a plan to connect sidewalks and trails, creating a walkable network, seek additional grants to fund plan. Always good with grants.
So a question on this is, so if a goal is to do this, you mentioned Chapter 90, because funding is a big issue, and funding has been an issue when we get into sidewalks, and we've talked about like running a sidewalk down 225, and there's all these options. Some of them aren't within our budget. So would the goal here to be to do more grant-funded sidewalks, and we just haven't talked about the funding of this and what it might cost? Because it hasn't been the top priority.
So I think if you took a longer lens, a
Yeah.
10 to
Yeah.
15-year lens, what's needed is to cut through the what could or should or maybe happen and see what it would cost.
Right.
So maybe a CPC application to design, or at least do a cost estimate of a conceptual design for any of the suggested so-called spokes, whether it's to Concord or to Westford. I think that would be a good use of CPC money to see, because then you would know, is this a $200,000 project, is it a $4 million project, and everything in between. And if we had that plan, and we kept applying for larger infrastructure-driven, economic development-driven grants, then I think you'd get it, as long as you extended that. I think you would for a long time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't the safety committee do something like that last year or the year before? And are you saying build on that, or what?
So shortening a very long conversation, the Connected Carlisle project was picked because it was more shovel-ready. It was
Right.
doable.
But they had
The
West
Westford,
Street.
but that one was
Or
more
Werribee, sorry.
popular. It was the one that got more attention and votes, but it could be millions of dollars, depending on how far you go and what you do, especially if you want to make it accessible.
One thing would be to look at all of those, like say, that's what you're,
I think you should have your engineers tell you what it would actually cost, and I think then you would know what to do. Do you apply for grants until you get it? Do you never do it? Do you want to do it now?
And you can use Chapter 90 as well, correct?
Yes.
In some cases.
But I think it's CPC eligible too, which,
So I guess I was taking a step too far. My comment was more on, I didn't want to set an expectation that we were going to support a plan, so devising a plan and getting the cost estimate and being able to make those decisions, I support. I don't want to create the false expectation that we're going to be making a priority to actually do all of this, because I do think it will be one of these things where there will be trade-offs and we will want to find alternate sources of funding. So that's my only.
As it's written, the goal is to devise a
Yeah.
plan, seek grants.
Yep.
All
Okay.
goodness, right? Yeah. Okay, and then the last change that I see is strategic private parcels for potential future acquisition.
Yeah. Again, I didn't want to set an expectation that, because I could imagine we could identify some parcels in the future, but,
It's premature to say.
It's premature to say,
Right,
I don't know.
okay.
Maybe I'm hedging all the bets too much, but I like the words potential. I don't want to create an
Yeah.
expectation that we're going to come out of this with, we are buying this land when it's available. That might be in 10 years, 20 years.
Yep. Okay, so what is the clean copy, Ryan? Is it the copy above, or there's a version below too, and I'm confused about which one, what I'm reading.
Are yours up there?
I think they will be.
Are your changes incorporated? Dave, did you have any changes? that you
Those were
made?
my changes, so I don't know where.
Yeah, I think we just removed the formatting, but the one below includes the changes.
Okay. So let's take a quick spin through the clean copy, and we can make sure that our changes were incorporated.
Okay.
Do you remember what you?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are incorporated.
Okay, so for, under
yeah,
Carlisle
pages,
character, we have goals around the DPW, Bog House, Highland, and Benfield. For DPW, we're gonna advance and support the design phase. Bog House, we're going to continue the Article 97 land swap.
Those include yours?
I don't know.
Okay, so,
Let me pull up my. I'll just do a little check as we
a
go
live
through
check. Under the Highland Building, we're gonna present a path forward at town meeting. That seems a little abridged.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This got-
Seemed like
Oh,
there was something else around that
No,
one.
it said, and secure nominal funding for an initial study, but.
Well, that's
but
the part
what
he struck.
He struck, so
Yeah.
it's just present a path forward. I don't know, I
Okay, and, yes, okay.
struck that too.
Okay, so we're good then on Highland Building. Okay, and on Benfield, we're gonna meet with NOAA leadership to establish a shared action plan. On Caring Community, trust funds disbursement, we're gonna finalize the process for, actually get some funds dispersed. Public safety, we're going to implement prioritized improvements to crosswalks, sidewalks, roads, pathways, culverts, and cisterns, and aggressively pursue grants. That's a lot of work summarized in one goal. That's good. Okay, that's an ambitious one.
Well, I think that one's actually, I think, in pretty good
So we got
shape.
fix the crosswalks, install some sidewalks potentially, pave some roads.
I
fix
think we
some
have
culverts.
we have prioritized culverts, prioritized
Yeah, we do.
roads. We've
done a lot of the legwork
Yeah.
around some of these. Yeah, it's just a lot of
Sidewalk.
work. So much, never has so much work been reflected in one bullet.
well, the land use one is probably more work.
Oh, yeah.
That's everything.
Commas don't mean it's going to take longer.
Town volunteer recruitment. We need to grow our volunteer base by recruiting residents who don't already volunteer for town office. We don't want to just shuffle the deck chairs. We want to actually get some new talent involved and their voices heard. Okay, what's next, Ryan? Okay, fiscal sustainability. We've got our community what is this?
Okay, that was a comment I had made, but that was just, so this I guess got in there. It was just a question. What does affirmation of town mean? What does that mean? Are we gonna propose something at town? That was a question to our board.
Scott's
So,
very good suggestion was we need to take the pulse of town. Do they want to continue with this surcharge? And I think we actually had a question out to, was it legal counsel or the state saying, can we pause?
Well, that would be a new question. Like
Oh,
that's,
okay.
I don't think that's been done.
Okay.
I think we would want, I go back to several years ago, we did this where we basically had it voted on again at town meeting. So it would be a warrant article that would, assuming the feedback was generally people want to continue at, I believe we're at 2%, you would present that warrant article and have people vote at a town meeting.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know that all that extraneous text in the brackets needs to be included, Ryan?
No,
That was
This is,
Those
so
are
this is
mine,
Travis's edits, so the,
Oh, and they somehow made it into the live copy.
so the top draft is clean, the
I
second
see.
one is Scott. And
The other question, the other
But-
potential thing would be,
red, so I don't know why the
Oh.
red.
and I don't know if this makes sense or not, but at the next election, we could put a non-binding question on the ballot, just to get a sense of, and if it seems overwhelming, you might not have to do town meeting. I don't know. There is an opportunity in November to ask a non-binding question.
I think
I
it's-
think you have to do both for taxes.
You have to do an election,
You
yeah.
have to do both.
This would be like an informal
No, I know.
though, so we don't have to,
Yeah, right.
yeah. But I think it's important enough the town should, I think we should vote it like every 5 years or something, just to.
Just keep a regular tab on, so it doesn't just
I
get.
think
run-
so.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time, on the budget and very small costs, and the town previously has said they support this partially because it's outside the budget and they want to fund these things, but when we look at what's ahead of us, I think it's important to both remind people of this surcharge and just make sure that the community still supports it
Yeah,
at the current level.
yeah. Okay, shared services. We're going to continue identifying town departments and functions that are well suited for shared services. Vocational financial planning. We need to get our arms around a process, joint process for forecasting vocational placements and their corresponding financial plans and controls. Long-term building and capital planning. We've got a lot to cover under that one. We're going to refine the financial model and strategic framework to evaluate the costs and tax impacts of potential building projects and major capital investments. Yes, Travis?
So because you're looking at my document here.
Yes.
So I'll just tell you what was changed. I took out it did say, present the model at town meeting to improve public's understanding. And I just took out present at town meeting.
So just
because
improve public's
Improve, and
understanding.
that
Okay.
could mean that we go to the town meeting, or it could not. I didn't want to have it so affirmative that we have to go to the town meeting.
Oh, I see.
If we as a board decide that that's, not worthwhile.
Okay.
Or we could.
Well, yeah.
We could.
We'll decide.
Yeah,
at
but
a
it
later
just,
date,
yeah, okay.
But the goal is still, we always want to have an educated public as to where
Absolutely,
their,
absolutely.
where their finances are.
Improve the
Okay.
public's understanding.
Partner with the finance committee, to update the town's debt service forecast, identify long-term operating capital budget strategies to manage future debt obligations while maintaining fiscal sustainability. Okay, that's good. Connectivity and access. We're going to maximize digital access to public records, forms, bills, scheduling, and other routine town transactions. Always good to move things online. Complete streets. We're going to devise a plan to connect sidewalks and trails.
This is my comment.
This is,
so
I
I'm
see,
sorry that
we're looking at Travis's
You're looking at my
view of
thought
the world.
process.
And Travis agrees with the concept of this goal.
I wrote that in this package.
Yes.
You all should have seen this. I'm
I-
surprised we're.
Yeah,
thank you
I
for taking the
did, but
time.
I guess
It wasn't
I thought
in
what
what
we were doing
Gretchen
right now
sent
is
around,
reviewing
though.
the clean version, but that's not.
I don't even know.
So my question was a priority and then the costing plan. What are we looking to do? I just thought about the process. As far as we want to accomplish, and we can leave the goal as it is.
It's really
I'm
just
not-
defining the process of, who are we going to bring together? Are we going to devise what our metrics for success are, apply certain weights,
Right.
and then,
I didn't articulate, but I had the same concern Scott had, where I don't want to promise, like, everyone says, oh, you're going to do complete streets, and you're, and I don't want to set any false expectations of what the select board would, because we're going to have a lot of competing interests for money.
yeah.
I would view this as almost like the kind of like the paving plan, kind of like the bid, where you have like the core, then you have alternate 1, alternate 2, and you kind of prioritize based on the network, the range, So I would envision a study that would have that costed out, and then we'd look at what we can fund and
Okay.
if anything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a world where it doesn't make sense or doesn't fit in the plan, but.
Do we want to keep it as a goal?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
That was just a comment to the board
Okay.
here in our packet.
Okay. Was there anything else, Ryan?
So what is this? It's
What'd you find,
Oh, yeah,
Scott?
that's
what Gretchen sent around.
Environmental stewardship, we've got a goal around sustainable land management and strategic land acquisition. This is the big, go ahead.
So I changed that. It says work with all boards. It used to say convene all boards.
Oh, okay.
And I said work with, because we may not have
One big
one
convention.
We may not. We may not.
Okay. To integrate existing plans into a single long-term land use strategy. And so by single, I meant to convey, we are all in alignment. Ryan is laughing. Hey, good luck.
I don't know what this is. This is what-
Establish priorities and target allocations for
Know what that is.
conservation. Yeah, all the land uses. Scott, what is it you're finding?
No, whatever. I'm sorry. There was a. I'm just looking at a document that was sent out that I'm just confused on.
We're looking, because we went through the one that was what was edited last time. And
Yes.
then we had two comments that were submitted.
Right.
His comments and my comments, and they're
Right.
both in there. Now, we happen to be looking at mine, but.
Yes, I
we're-
know.
I'm looking
I
at
don't mean to, and this is.
when
a
I have draft
discussion for
3,
Four of us.
which is different.
That's it, you're out.
I'm out. Anyway, yeah, little version issue. I'm not sure what this is because this looks like an older version.
One
Oh,
that
the
we've
one
got
that
on the
Gretchen sent?
screen is Travis's version.
Yeah,
of-
this one.
yeah.
It has like
Which one are you talking about?
the draft
This
3
one.
that was sent out yesterday.
Oh, the yesterday's version, which is not up on the screen. Oh,
Right.
Is
That-
that it right there?
I don't know what this is. We've got multiple versions.
Yeah, and that one has like, yeah,
This looks,
cistern man. Yeah,
This is,
Well, it's not, because I'd say
HKT
it should be
Architects.
HKA.
Yeah.
and,
But I don't
you
think
know,
in our goals, do we want to be so specific as to name who's doing what?
That was from those are the minutes.
Those are the minutes
The
of.
minutes, Scott.
Yes.
no, but it's FY. It's
Those were the minutes.
Everything goals related is in one
That was
huge.
in the minutes from the
oh, that's the.
last meeting, and they were in the.
Oh,
I don't know how we got this
This
so
is
jumbled, right?
fantastic.
well, no, I just read.
Everything goals related.
I know.
so this is the wonders of the open meeting law. So you
Okay, I got you. So it's
you want to work on this outside the meeting, but you can't.
right. Okay,
We have
Yeah,
to
that's fine.
display everyone's thoughts.
so
Right.
it's the goals minutes, not the goal. Okay.
But we don't have one cleaned up version, like,
Not allowed.
that's not allowed. Got it, okay.
I think we're
Are
narrowing
we
in on it.
aligned
Yeah.
with the goals? Did anyone have any,
The
puts and
only,
takes?
the only one that I thought was, that I mentioned it last time, was the municipal vulnerability preparedness.
That we,
was-
okay, we didn't actually review that.
That was the only one, and I don't know if I, articulated it too well, because I crossed out, but I thought we've spent a lot of time and energy, and, we have a report, and we've got a lot, and not that we.
Ryan, just,
No.
right there. Thank you. What was our goal? Develop a comprehensive implementation plan, establish measurable performance metrics, and create a framework to monitor and report progress over time.
That's what I wrote.
Oh, okay.
That is.
I'm good with that.
That's a fine goal.
I'm
It's-
good.
That's what but I changed that, because I took out, and that's why I'm just surprised it doesn't have, because my version I sent had but we, I don't know, if you wanted to, reduce a lot of, we had advanced community-wide carbon and solid waste reduction efforts. We can add that in, we cannot, whatever.
Report progress over time for waste reduction goals.
I think either is fine. I mean, it's our goal,
Yeah.
and what we do across the year is what's important. So
Right.
I don't know that we need to. I think this wording includes that.
Yeah.
Which wording?
The wording there,
One
the
that we just
the
read.
one that we just read.
The
Your-
shorter
your-
version.
The shorter
Shorter
version,
version.
yeah. I think it's fine. And
Okay.
I think it encompasses what we've been talking about. And what's important will be actually setting those metrics and doing the work, and then
Yeah.
versus the wording of the goal.
Dave, what do you think?
I'm good with it.
You're good with it?
There's a question.
Oh, we have a comment. Christina?
Hi, Christina Christopoulos, Temecula Road. Last time, something was added that I think is important, and it's removed now, and that is maintaining climate leader and green community status.
Oh, yeah. Where did that go?
Travis struck it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it-
I think
It's fine, and that's why we're talking about this, how we want to approach this. So whatever the board wants, if you wanted to put that in.
See, it's
we
in
agreed.
Scott's version. Right there. Climate leader, green communities.
This is,
I
this
think
is
we need some
these
sort
are
of-
No,
the,
this
these
is-
are the pitfalls of all this, you
This
know,
is
and it's
what-
fine.
Well, that was part of what you
Yeah,
deleted.
right.
So we can just add that
You
language
can add it
back.
back in.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So,
I was giving my thoughts.
so add the wording, maintain climate leader community and green community status.
Right.
And you can take some liberty with how you incorporate that into the sentence.
Okay.
So we're gonna shorten as suggested.
Yep, and
We're
add,
gonna add these
yep,
or maintain them, but
Yep.
in Travis's shortened version.
yep,
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
we will create a clean copy
yep.
Thank you.
based off what we think you want, and then you can work from that draft next
Okay.
time.
Okay, in the meantime, we do need to vote on it?
Well,
I
we
would
don't
not
have
yet.
it.
We don't, not, we do
don't
not have it
we don't
today.
have it.
So we can't say vote as amended?
And we
Too
can, we
premature.
can always revise it, but I would.
Just
as
hold
a-
off.
As a member, I would say, I would, not.
Got it. Okay.
But I think at a high level, if I look at all these goals, like, the land use is a really big effort.
Huge.
And like, that's a big one, right? So it's, I think, as I look at these goals, that's one where it's pretty broad reaching, it's gonna involve a lot of groups. It's gonna take more than a year to do the whole thing, but really getting some good progress done on priority parcels this year should be our kind of tactical goal. That's a big one, though.
It is.
I'll just make a sub-bullet comment on the financial model.
Name and address
John
first.
Valentine, 268 Fifth Street. Since I've been working on the enrollment projections at the school, I think that's a really important part, which I will continue to do, because if the school enrollment drops into the 570 range, which it can easily do, it has significant implications at long, medium term for what happens. And so I will do that to feed that in, but I think it's really important that you have the school start looking out that way as we make this transition. And I know you all agree with that,
And
but I'm the only one who's been doing it. So we gotta get other people doing that and understand it.
Yeah, and they have their own projections, correct? Like from DESI and all that?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But that's just the
Yep.
subtext.
And you're in communication with the finance committee as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for goals discussion. How about land swap?
We have
We have Julie here. And John.
John, yep.
Should we just do that next then?
Great.
And that is, what item is that though?
It's item 6.
Items, yes, land swap. Mm-hmm.
Fine process.
Okay.
Ooh.
Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Julie, I'm making you a co-host.
Okay, great. We have a little presentation. I hope this time I don't have to speed read it. Last time, although that was fun. Let me just see here.
Hello, John.
Hi there. So let me say, we would not be here without Julie doing a lot of the legwork, and this is because this turns out to be really complicated and a lot of different moving pieces. And so she does a lot of the calls, sort of tells me what's going on. So, I mean, this is obvious, as you know, with our staff people, but this is really
Thank you, John.
This is
That's nice of
complicated.
you. I couldn't do it without John.
Yeah, right.
So here we are to talk to you guys about the Bog House again. The discussion tonight is going to focus on the replacement land process feedback. Hold on one second, let me make this forward to the next slide. So the purpose of the discussion tonight, really the reason for this is because we are trying to queue up the land swap vote for fall town meeting on November 16th. And so working back from that, we have a number of things that we need to accomplish. One of them being the public process related to the land swap. So tonight we'd also like to get your feedback on the replacement land options that we have. We'll get there in the presentation in a minute. And then also what you'd like to see for a local process in addition to what the state requires as part of the Open Space Act. And the Open Space Act is triggered by carving land out of Article 97. So I did put together a little background slide because I wasn't sure like how up to speed everyone on the select board is about what's going on here or why we have to do this. I can do it if you guys Want me to just
Please.
quickly breeze through? Okay. So
Remind me.
basically, yeah, so the project is converting the Bog House to affordable housing, right? Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution governs the protection, use, disposition of public lands, ensuring that there's no net loss of land with environmental, scenic, or recreational value. The Carlisle Cranberry Bog land and the Bog House are subject to Article 97. So repurposing the Bog House for any non-agricultural use requires that we carve the house and any land that we need for the parking and the utilities to support the use of the house, right, that's non-agricultural, needs to be carved out of Article 97. That requires a 2/3 vote of the legislature. And that, the carve-out triggers the Open Space Act, which outlines a process for how the disposition works.
And how much land are we talking about here?
So for the carve-out, we haven't quite pinned that
Probably
down
around-
yet.
Around 2 acres?
Okay,
That's
so
what I'm
roughly,
thinking, not
got
too
it.
much, and
We're thinking ideally no more than 2 acres, potentially less, depending on how things lay out on the site.
Okay.
So,
And the reason 2 acres is kind of, it's kind of a choice is then from a septic standpoint in bedrooms, and you get 4 bedrooms on the 2 acres from a septic standpoint, so then you don't have to go through a lot of hoops from the Board of Health's perspective, so.
And this, the Bog House, remind me, did we decide on 3 units, 4 units? 4 units, 1 bedroom each?
We didn't, we've got a configuration of bedrooms, but we're working with different things, so it may be 3, 2, and 2 2s and a 1, but again.
Whatever, okay.
yeah, some mix, probably, right? Getting to a total of no more than 8 bedrooms. That's
Okay.
kind of what we're targeting.
Is there such a thing as getting an Article 97 waiver, or is that just, that's a no-go?
There is a thing, but we're told it's really unlikely, and we wouldn't know if we could get it until like way further down the road. So we have to have the conversation anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Open Space Act disposition process requires a few different things. The first thing they recommend is pre-submission consultations with the people that hold the land that we're looking to carve out, so that's the Conservation Commission. So John and I have met with them a couple times, and we'll certainly go back and meet with them once we kind of start to nail this down a little bit more. And then also EEA staff, and that's staff from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. I have met with them. I never meet with the state alone anymore, so I always make sure that there's someone else on the
Right.
call with me.
Yeah.
Usually that's Megan Sullivan, our conservation administrator, sometimes John. So we have people hearing all the same things I'm hearing and taking notes. They have been very helpful and pretty positive so far about the things we've talked about. So, and then we do need to put together an alternatives analysis. So there's a lot of details related to this, but the basic gist is that we need to basically prove that there's no other town land where we could do affordable housing. And some of the history here in town where we've actually tried affordable housing on town land and it hasn't succeeded is perfect for this, proving that there is no alternative to the Bog House for affordable housing. The yellow bullet point here is identifying replacement land. So I'll get into the details of that, and that's really why we're here tonight. And then just after that, there's a few other things that need to happen. So appraisals and surveys is related to the Bog House carve out and the replacement land. So figuring that out and then getting the appraisals and getting the survey work done, those are steps that need to happen before the town meeting vote. And then there's a notification and public comment requirement that the state has, and there's details around that as well. And then a vote of the Conservation Commission is required, a vote of the Select Board. I'm not 100% sure if that's required, but I included it here because I've heard that it might be. And then the land swap will require a 2/3 vote of town meeting. And then once we get all those things compiled, and if we get there and we get the vote from town meeting, we can submit the legislative petition.
And so one of the questions that Rebecca asked, both at town meeting and then privately, was the comparability of the land swap.
Right.
And so the question is that basically you have to go through this appraisal, show what this 2 acres is worth on the bog, and then this other land swap has a comparable value. And the idea of it being town land shows you can have comparable value that we own, that we don't have to go out and buy a new piece of land to replace it, so that it isn't, so it's clearly one asset, one of our assets for another asset.
Yeah.
When you say comparable value, is that based on Okay.
You it right up for me. Just
I
handed
did.
it to me. So-
Set off.
Walked right into
All
that.
right.
So it needs to be of equal or greater natural resource value, and the policy states that that is under the sole discretion of the Secretary of the EEA. Equal or greater acreage and equal or greater monetary value, and like John said, it's gonna be the greater of the fair market value or the value in use, whichever's higher, of the bog carve out.
So that could be a pretty substantial value.
It could be a substantial value,
Correct,
correct.
even though there's none right now.
Right.
Um,
Right.
And then in discussions with EEA staff, they're looking for land, and also in their policy it outlines this, but they're looking for land that's similar to the carve-out land. So the three things they've identified for me are land that has street frontage, because the land we carve out from the Bog House will have frontage on Curve Street, right? And then wetlands and trails and passive recreation similar to the bog land. Whether what we carve out actually includes any of the trails is still an open question, but those are things they've identified as resulting in sort of an equivalency in their opinion.
I can't think of anything offhand that meets the same conditions.
Well, that keeps
That's
up
what we're
the
gonna show you.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Walk right into
Yeah,
it.
right, yeah, right.
So
There it is.
The Conant land is the basically only property that anyone that I've spoken to has suggested. It is a town-owned property that's unencumbered. It's not subject to Article 97 like many other town-owned lands are. It has frontage on Rockland Road, wetlands, trails and passive recreation, and initial feedback from EEA staff has been positive.
Okay.
What we're trying to determine is like how much of Conant land and exactly where and in what configuration. So I have recently walked the entire site with some of the abutters, seen it for myself after 3.5 years working on the property. High time. And we've talked about Castle Rock, which is identified on this in that little black. So my cursor's not really working. Oh, yes it is, okay. Right here, Castle Rock. The other things that are marked on this site are the future well for the fire station, and then the trails are kind of dotted in a way that makes them pop out more from the plan. The dark green is a wetlands, national wetlands inventory layer. It's really actually not matching reality on the ground, but it gives a sense that there might be some wetlands there. And then the lighter green are the state DEP DEP wetlands layer. So that's what you're looking at here. And then we're thinking of some land kind of within this.
And so if you
White
do 6
circle.
acres with frontage, then you can get comparable value, because then you can get supposedly three lots there. So again, the appraiser will obviously kind of go through that process with us, but that's,
So we would be swapping 2 acres of cranberry bog for 6 acres on Conant?
Mhm.
Well, that's
We
the
don't know.
question, right?
Okay.
Like,
Well, yeah.
this is just a starting point for a
Right.
conversation. I have put together a draft RFQ for an appraisal, for the appraisals, right, that we need to put out, and I put in it that the appraiser would need to contemplate a few different configurations so that there would be some choice.
Okay.
But kind of pinning down like what that is, like how much, where.
And the appraiser is appraising 2 acres of cranberry bog minus the house.
Not minus the house.
With the house,
With
with
the
the house,
house,
with the
yeah.
house, so it's, we're changing the use, so therefore you've got
Right.
the 8 bedrooms.
Okay.
So that's the issue.
Of affordable housing.
Right.
Well, they don't say that, it's housing, right?
Yeah.
Even though we're doing affordable housing, they're saying it's housing. From an appraiser standpoint, you've now got a developable lot that you can put in 8 bedrooms.
It's a way to protect conservation land, because they have it in conservation now, and they're saying if you go to, you want to swap that, and you're saying, oh, you can use this for some better, higher use, we want to make sure we get that same comparable thing.
Right, exactly.
Can I ask a question? then?
Yes.
Julie,
No, absolutely.
Who are some, like with this example, who are some of the other constituencies? Like tonight, we heard from AgCom, and, you know, I don't think that that's an agricultural parcel, but have you talked to them, or, you know, ball fields are another thing, or people recreational use or whatever? I mean, are there other?
Have you walked the land?
I have.
Yes,
I've
yeah, no,
ridden,
you
I've
would.
ridden those trails many times,
They're-
and I would think that those trails would remain in place no
Right.
matter what happens.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so no, so we're starting with you, really. We've talked informally with many boards and committees, and we've heard from, like informally from those committees, that Conant land is the obvious land because we own it, so we're not buying land to give to the state. And it's one of the only, I think there are 5 properties that the town owns that are unencumbered, but that includes like Spalding and Center Park and smaller parcels that are not. So this is kind of the most probably viable option.
And wearing my former select board hat, is you still want to keep some of that land that you could possibly develop in the future. So I think from your standpoint is what part of that is developable, which is flat, and where could you be doing it? And obviously, that's kind of around, you know, the town offices, the fire, and, you know, the police and things like that. So you want, I think that's an important consideration for you all to think about, thinking longer term, because that was why Conant was purchased, you know, 50, 60 years ago or something, right?
To be developed?
No, for the municipal uses,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But it turns out
But it's-
not easy to develop, there's not much
Yeah.
here,
rock,
it's a lot of rock.
ledge,
Have
Yeah.
you looked at putting
wetlands.
the DPW there?
Right.
Well, yeah.
So I walked this as well. It was lovely. And the DPW is
On the other side of it.
maybe 2-minute walk from that top point.
Right,
Yeah.
The land starts up there.
right.
So it kind of does connect.
Yeah.
It should be considered someday as a way to connect all of it, but I don't think that's this generation's focus.
Right.
Okay.
Also, I can add that more people have talked to me about conserving this land than any other piece that we possess.
Right.
So there's trails interest, there is butter interest, there is municipal use interest, and finally got to see it, but the significance of Castle Rock is the equivalent of the Bog House, in my opinion, in terms of like Carlisle landmarks.
Mhm. Right.
So the idea of developing around it seems to not be popular.
No, right.
Coyotes
Okay.
like it,
I bet.
Yes.
They're back there, I've seen them.
So what do you need from us tonight then?
Yeah, so let me just see what my next slide is.
What's your
Yeah,
your
so-
timeline here?
Yes,
'Cause
right, yeah,
Great.
this is a, yeah.
You just-
here we
Whenever
go.
you
You're just
start
teeing
involving
it
the
right up.
state, I'm like, so this will take how many years?
All right.
So we have Land Tech Engineering working to kind of pin down things on the site. So that's happening, right? And then I have the RFQ for the appraisals, and the pinning down the site and the appraisals are going to kind of need to happen simultaneously, right? There's going to be some, you know, discussions that happen, right, between the two entities. So we need to identify the land, like what are the boundaries of the carve out, what are the boundaries of the swap land, get those appraised and surveyed, and then kind of figure out what will be the local process to like continue the conversations with all the entities. So I kind of just outlined here, we're thinking that we try to get the land identified and the appraisals done in the summer, and then circle back with boards and committees in September and October, and try to queue up like the votes that we need from Conservation Commission and potentially also the Select Board in October, and then town meetings November 16th. So this is just a high-level outline of our schedule.
So realistically, we're working with Land Tech, and at some point, this is where we need your guidance. We have to do meets and bounds of, you know, what part of let's say if it's Conant that we carve out, and you have to do the meets and bounds, and that we've got a contract with them that can do it, and then we go to the conscom and say, this is what we're thinking about, and here's what the meets and bounds, also on the Bog House. So this really has to be done in the next 6 weeks, right? To be able to get ready to say, here's the appraiser, who then is, and comes back, and the appraisers work in their own time frame, but hopefully by September, and then we come back with you and say, here's what we know, and here's what it
Right.
is.
So
So that's
it's-
pretty tight, looking to November and the language for the town meeting, right?
There is some overlap too, and like EEA staff will come and walk the site with the appraiser. Like there'll be like communication
Both sides.
happening between the entities.
They work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Is it worthwhile at all to pursue a waiver in parallel? It just seems like the town has 30% of our land already set aside. Is that just not advisable? No, Christina's like back there hissing.
I think they've said
We
no.
could circle back to town council. The EEA staff didn't really feel like like we're changing the use and the ownership, right? So even though technically the house was always housing, it was housing to support an agricultural use.
Mhm.
So they view like housing for a different purpose as a different
Right.
use. And then also the ownership change. So it's like two of the
Mhm.
two checks against us, I think.
Mhm.
That being said, like housing is a priority of the administration. So it's possible, right? But town council felt like we should.
And they kind of indicated not a high priority.
They think it's really
A strategy,
unlikely
yeah.
we'll get it, and we will not know until we're like literally shovel in the ground with the project.
Mhm. Okay.
We can reach out and revisit if that's something the select board
Does anybody else see any value in that?
wants.
What would that save us?
I mean, I think,
I mean, if this fails at town meeting, would you then seek the waiver?
Depends on why it failed.
yeah, I think so.
Hmm?
So if it failed because of the Conant land value, then yes. If it failed because people don't support the project at all, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
And that's gonna be the bigger half of this, the more
Right.
controversial half of this is the Cranberry Bog house.
Correct.
And then it's, what are you doing with the house? How many units? What's that
Right.
gonna look like? How does that impinge on trails? I think people are gonna be more focused on that part of the equation versus
Mhm.
what section of Conant is it?
Yeah.
So for the fall, you also need to have a compelling
Right.
story about the bog house and what that's gonna be.
We got a
And
lot of
we,
work
and
ahead
we
of
do
us.
have,
Otherwise,
we do have a
people-
conceptual design, and, you know, it's kind of working, going forward. And it's a municipal project, so it's gonna, at least council sort of said, this is gonna fall under procurement laws.
Because I would assume if someone's
Backup
voting
for
in
everyone.
favor of this at town meeting,
Yeah.
or let's say someone's voting opposed to it, it's either they don't like the plan for the bog house,
Mhm.
or they're concerned about what might happen to that land if the bog house plan doesn't go forward, and will this be developed? So
Yeah.
I think that's the bigger hurdle in terms of the town vote.
We have heard some feedback about Conant that in order for this to get through town meeting, the town should offer a lot of the Conant land as replacement land.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
so
it-
I don't think
Well,
that this
conservation
piece of the
oriented.
conversation is,
Yeah.
That's not the.
Well, and if you're in a
But we will
butter-
have, certainly,
Yeah.
we have conceptual plans already for
Yeah.
what the apartments will look like. We have the idea of
Yeah.
where the septic would be, and we have, you know, we have to go through the whole permitting process and the RFP to get to everything else. So at least be able to present where we are, not just, you know, a nice idea, but, you know, much more of the detail. So
And
that
I
would
also
be-
think people understanding if we don't go down this path, what happens to the bog house?
Right, there's that, yes, right.
Right, like.
Yeah.
Highland too.
No, but I mean, it's,
Right.
there's gonna be resistance, some resistance to whatever your plan is for the bog house.
Correct.
Because people say, what if we did this? I think it's also important to not only articulate a vision, but also that there's not a lot of other options.
Right, and especially the current plan, I think, at least I've supported, because in part, it's, you know, financially really advantageous to the town. I mean, we're talking about potentially having a independent developer come in and
Correct.
do this. And so, you know, when we have the land, where it's not like the town is going out purchasing land, I mean, this is, and this has all been funded through CPC to date, is
Yes,
that right?
correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, this just seems like a reasonable, affordable housing project to
But-
me.
Yeah.
But Scott, it's still if for some
Yeah.
reason it stumbles and fails, it's still the town's land.
Yeah.
And you've also defined what purpose it is at town meeting, which is, as you said before, I don't remember the exact wording of the article. We go back to the wording of the article, I mean, it's pretty clear what we're doing, so you're not gonna be doing something else.
But even if you have all the land swap mechanics figured out and people support that, you're still gonna need to give people confidence in the
Correct.
vision for
Yes.
what, and that's farther behind, that's a long, you're not.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the challenge. I
No,
think.
no, absolutely, yeah.
So,
Okay. Was there anything else you needed from us?
yes, so for tonight, we just kind of wanted to take your temperature on, like, does this feel right to you? And like, because we will need to get an appraisal.
That feels like the right process.
Does it feel like the right
Amount of-
area,
yeah,
the right
right.
amount, the right, like, we don't know if it'll be 6, or we'll probably get a few different options within
How
that
big is
range.
Conant?
Is
There's-
45? is it?
45?
54.
It's the whole
54
yellow.
total, I think.
Yeah.
The
Um,
whole
yeah.
Conant land, isn't it like 52 acres?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the
Yeah.
50s.
It's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that,
that circle does not represent a
No,
proportionate
so it would
amount.
be like in there, in that, yeah, circle.
And with the fire station project and the whole well thing, does that help us too by making this conservation land? I mean, I don't know how much that work would impinge on any future development with wells and water supplies.
that's a really good question.
So I think if anything, like, I don't have any plans for Conant land. I don't have any structures.
Right.
I have my eye on for town to build.
And it's very hard land to develop, as
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And we're expanding a fire station right there, which, with a new well source and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
And just knowing how challenging that can be.
I support it. I think that
Yeah.
this is a good plan. The one thing to think about, and John, you brought this up, is thinking long-term, well beyond us. You know, we didn't plan necessarily on putting a new well in there for the fire station, because
Right.
we didn't think about that. If this goes into conservation land and is, you know, locked up in perpetuity, is that gonna preclude, you know, whereas we say, oh, well, a well is, you know, pretty innocuous type of use. It's not like we're, you know, building a Walmart there or something, to the other extreme. But, you know, well, but we may need that land for a well, and does that preclude that? And I'm not saying to not do this because of that, I just want to make sure we think about that.
So for another well in addition to the one we have showing on here, sorry, I don't know. if
Yeah,
that-
okay, so
So this is the one for the fire station with the
So,
radius.
I've actually looked at 2 affordable housing developments on the Conant land.
Okay.
One way in the back
Yeah.
by,
Over here, right?
yeah, by the pond. And it perks back there, and there's a well you could put back there, and the one right near where the well is there, which you could then, if you wanted to, let's have some housing there. So one of the things I think in terms of dividing it is, because that well obviously is a public water supply.
Yep.
So that's why you have to keep things outside the public water supply. So you'd want to make a lot line, you know, on the other side of where the black circle is, so that it's potentially developable in the future.
Yeah.
So I think
my
those
point
things
that
is
there are
absolutely
these-
have to be
I use the
considered.
well as an example, but it could be a septic system
Right,
for the
exactly.
town hall.
Right,
So it could be
right.
lots of things we haven't thought of.
Right.
And so, I mean, I support this. I think that this is a good area to put it in and everything, but I would try and minimize as much as I want to preserve more land in Carlisle, and I think that's great, and put more, this is a pretty valuable piece for just, you know, whatever kind of use that 20 to 50 years from now, people say
Right.
we may want to see there.
Right, right.
Do another land swap.
Dave, what do you
Well,
think?
we might. We might want the land for another swap.
Thoughts on this?
Yep.
Swapping it.
Makes sense to me, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no other prime options.
No.
This is the best. Yeah.
Okay.
Any comments on the phone or anything that we're missing?
And the abutters, I'm assuming, support.
Yeah.
Oh, it puts
We haven't spoken
conservation
with
next
all
to
of
that.
them,
Yeah,
but we've
right.
spoken with a few of them.
Okay.
Um,
Great. Well, I think you have our support.
Okay, and then we did wanna also ask you about, like, the local process, like, we'll do the things that are required by the state, right? And then we'll circle back with the Conservation Commission. We've been talking to people from Trails, from Historical, right? We'll come back to you. Is there
Planning
anything?
board, does they?
I update them at the meetings. We could certainly do
Yeah,
more
we
with
should,
them
yeah.
easily. Is there anything else that you're thinking, or like, do you want us to come back sooner or more frequently, or just kind of when we have an update?
Because
Just when you
this
have
is
an
the
update.
main item on your
Okay.
town meeting agenda, right? So we have to be ready for
It's
the.
a main item.
You have
A
A.
minor.
Yeah, a main item, right.
Unfortunately,
They're all
once you
tied for
open the
first.
box.
But, okay.
Yeah.
So we had to be ready kind of by the end of September, at least in my mind.
What were those dates again, Ryan?
Yep.
both know how to do this.
Yeah.
Your MBTA community, I mean, you've been through the ringer. I mean, you've got to go out to the groups who might not support this
Right.
and out early and
Yeah.
get all the input you can.
We've been trying to, as much as we can, just
Okay.
find out
Right.
the issues people have, what are the sticking points, what are the things we can try to plan around, work with, whatever,
Okay.
as best we can.
You have till October 28th.
October 28th.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
But,
So
yeah, and I think educating people on the bog houses, and I wouldn't get so focused on the mechanics of the swap and neglect to tell the story of the bog house and why that makes sense. Because I
Right.
think even though we're voting on this, you're really voting on the other
Right,
thing.
correct.
And you're not going to have enough information to answer all the questions, but you still need to articulate a clear vision and rationale for people who are concerned or aren't aware of what's going on there.
Right.
Because as soon as you hear develop the bog house, affordable housing,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it raises concerns
Right.
among people. What's this going to be like?
Yeah,
And we've
yeah.
heard it, right? Like,
Right,
can I
exactly.
still access the trails? So just being proactive with that,
Right.
but not overly.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if there's
Thank
nothing
Thank you.
else. Thank you both.
I'm sorry, I have one more thing to talk to you about, and it's gonna take a minute. So the two design paths that we have for this project, and we just learned this today, so I apologize, it's coming late. The two design projects, one of them suggests that we have a lot of control over the project, which means we design it all the way to how many rooms, all the different design pieces. If we were to do that through procurement law, you need to consider it a municipal project, which means that prevailing wage and other items would come into play. So the benefit of it is a lot of local control over what the project looks like and feels like and ends like, but the cost would be higher. So the risk there would be that the eventual person constructing this might not see it as feasible because they have to use municipal procurement. If we were to go with a more hands-off approach and say, we have identified what this might be, and we're gonna put out an RFP for you to design it and to take over that process. The benefit of that is it would be cheaper. It wouldn't have to have prevailing wage and other procurement details, but you would have a lot less control over the project. And Julie did a good job identifying this with the state and council today to identify the different risks here. So each way has risks. So we're curious which one you would prefer.
Cheaper.
What's the constraint? I mean, I assume you have to leave the bog house intact, like.
Kind of.
Well,
It's-
the issue, from a procurement law standpoint, this is kind of a municipal project, right? We're building housing that we're now saying it's separately owned, right? We're providing a way to build from their perspective, mass housing, is they want to have housing built following, designs and things like that from their perspective. But this is town land that then you have separately owned. So, but once you start prescribing what you want and giving more details, then it's a municipal project. Then you just say, oh, Scott, just go figure out what you can do with the bog house. We want you to keep the same envelope, but you just figure it out. We don't have the same kind of controls.
Can I ask though, do you have those controls in the RFP you put out? Like you would say, like we want affordable housing in there, or would you then say this could throw out the old ability to do affordable housing because a bidder could come in, be a high bidder, and we'd have to accept a high bid who does all market rate housing?
So
Is
the
that a risk
advice,
here?
the advice I've been given is that we could say something like up to 4 units, and we could say 2 need to be affordable.
Okay.
But we really can't specify, like, the whole thing should be affordable, we can't specify only 4, the details that we could put in an RFP would be very limited, and we would not be able to use any of the design plans. We could say preserve the building envelope, but that wouldn't necessarily mean all the historical details that the historical commission's concerned
Right.
about. And then the other path is kind of the path we've been on, where we've been getting a lot of feedback from various stakeholders, and we're basically designing the project. So if we stay on that path, then this is a public construction project.
So to simplify the risks a little bit more, there's no risk in designing it all the way, putting out the RFP and seeing what it costs, except for basically the $200,000 that's been approved. So you would be if we didn't go forward with a project at the end of that, you would have lost that design money. But you would have retained all of the control of the project. If you just put it out to bid, then we don't have to spend that 200,000, but it might not look like something that you would want to support, and then you'd have to go that way anyway.
But we don't have to accept it, right?
Correct.
So we could get in 5 people and they all do skyscrapers and we say, we don't want that, you know, we're not, I mean, is that possible?
Which
that's-
part?
But that's not how we, so the issue is not a catch-22 quite yet, but it's close to it, is we've already had these conversations with the state, and so in terms of the OC, and saying, we're gonna do this for affordable housing or for whatever, and so you can't really say, what else would you develop there in this element? They probably wouldn't approve it. You know, so this gets the Article
But that's
97.
good.
No,
That's
they
good.
probably wouldn't approve the Article 97 carve-out. So the carve-out, we've already said, and we said at town meeting, that we're doing this carve-out for affordable housing, right? That's been our approach.
Right.
And basically the state saying, or the Mass Housing Partnership saying, hey, if you're doing that, this is a municipal project.
And if you don't do municipal, someone could come in, knock down the Cranberry Bog House, build something completely new.
Right.
We could put certain things in the RFP, like preserving the structure, right, would be one of
Right.
them. But we can't really be super detailed about it. And then obviously if they propose to knock the structure down, then we don't award the contract to them, right? If
Yeah.
the goal is to preserve one of the goals is to preserve the structure.
So-
There's really, my understanding is there's like no middle ground.
Right.
It's like we have a lot of control and then it's subject to prevailing wage and public bidding, or we give up the control and we set some parameters and.
Well, and this gets to your point, Scott, how does this happen? It's with a developer who's doing it, who raises the additional money, because there's a funding gap to make this work.
Right.
And the economics of 4 units, and if 1 or 2 is affordable, don't work. So in reality, who is really gonna bid on this is someone who understands this business and is doing an affordable housing development and then covers the gap.
Right.
And
Which is
that's-
what I would think would happen. It's
Right.
not gonna be someone, because we would deny, I used the skyscraper, you know, if
Right.
someone came in and said, I'm gonna tear it down and put up a, you know, whatever, the town would, I think many people would object to that and say, we're not gonna do that.
What would they have to show to us for the approval, though?
What do you mean?
Like if
Yes.
you had, you put
Yes.
out the RFP,
Right.
what do you, they could say, it's gonna look like this, it's gonna, you know, and we're gonna do all these things.
Right.
And then, oh, guess what?
Yeah, right, we can't do it that way.
Yeah, like, I'm not clear on, if we went that route, what we would,
One of the details that's been discussed during this project that I was involved or listened to was like where the septic should be, where all the things should be in order to make sure that the habitat is retained. In a non-control situation, as long as they met all the site requirements, they wouldn't necessarily have to do it the way that
Right.
that our engineers had prescribed it. So maybe that's the only way to do it, but we're not sure. So sure, you could look at the different proposals they have, but based on my experience with the project, there have been a lot of people interested in the details.
Right.
So we've been moving along as if you wanted us to have those details set before the town meeting vote, because we thought it might be controversial or discussed, or et cetera. But we don't want to not tell you that could end up in a cost that you don't
Right.
want and a waste of the
Well,
200,000.
and then to put the Conscom hat on, because they're the ones voting to say, yes, carve this out, they could say, this is not something that we thought, we had the impression that this was being carved out for 4 units of affordable housing that kind of matched our values. They could say, no, we don't want to do that. So we need the Conscom approval for doing this, which we've had so far, because we presented it, to your point, Scott.
the prevailing wage, I'm assuming, would increase double, triple the cost?
20 to
20
30% is what
20,
I was
you know.
told.
But does that still make it, I mean, is it still gonna fit within an affordable threshold?
So the units, if a not-for-profit or an affordable housing developer creates affordable units, then they have to be deed restricted or some sort of regulatory agreement to keep them available to households earning incomes of certain ranges.
So the gap that we thought was gonna like $1 million roughly
Mhm.
between what it would cost to construct, maybe it's now $1.2 million. rather than $1 million. And again, we haven't gone through a cost estimate and worked with a cost estimate, but that's kind of $1 million to sell the units, and then you have to, you know, 2 million. So basically, this only happens if a developer comes in and makes up the gap, and this just makes the gap bigger.
Okay. Okay, we need to move on to other topics. What did you need from us tonight then?
But
I did want to add one thing though. So if we go the route where we don't have as much control, then the entity that wins the bid actually has to do the design and permitting, the 40B permitting or whatever. So
I
there
don't think
is
it
some
passes
expense to that
if you
as
do
well.
that. If you
Right.
go that route,
I agree.
economically, it may not work, but I don't see how you get 2/3 and everyone
No, right.
lined up when you're saying, well, developer can come in and,
Right.
you know, do something different. People are gonna want control on
Right.
this one, given the structure and the location. This isn't some hidden,
Yeah, no, I agree.
and so take the economics out. My knee-jerk reaction is that's just a dead end, trying
Right.
to go down that route.
Right.
Okay.
That's my sense of it, anyway.
And what,
Dave,
Dave, yeah.
No, this is-
Oh, I'm just absorbing all.
No,
yeah,
I know, but
agree.
this is, but you're still JQ public.
I think you're gonna have a hard enough time
All right,
with
we need-
control.
We need somebody, no, seriously, I mean,
Right?
Accurate. Yeah.
Where are we cost-wise, though? Is the 200,000 going to cover? That won't be an issue.
at this point,
So
no.
far, no, yeah.
No, we're doing
Yeah.
fine on that.
So far, we're fine. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you needed tonight? No?
No, okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So please reach out
What were
to
you gonna say,
Dave
Pat?
Willie if you have thoughts and questions, you know.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
We'll probably talk about this again.
This is
Make sure.
Yeah, this-
the old like prisoner's dilemma, or I don't know what you call it.
It's-
Like,
Totally.
Yeah, because it sounded like we started where, you said,
I
oh,
thought we
let's do
were,
it.
I thought we were defining a process, and then we got this sort of late breaking news, which is very difficult to act on.
Right.
So we're gonna see it again.
Right.
So
Right.
is there anything else that we need right now, tonight?
No, but
No.
I think the
Okay.
board here, we started with like, oh, let's move in a direction, this is my sense of it, but we move in a direction where it's least costly and we'll let them, and then as we learn more tonight, we
I thought the
kind
whole-
of shifted.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
thought,
know real
I
estate.
thought the whole point was
Right?
Right,
affordable
things
housing.
change, yeah, right.
Yeah,
and
right.
maintaining
That's
the
really
bog
the-
house,
You know,
and
that's,
maintaining the bog house, the integrity of that historic
so you
structure.
say you need the outer mold line, don't touch the outer mold line. You have certain definitions around it, and then they take care of the rest. I mean, that sounds fine, but we will hear it again. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you, guys.
much. And the Article 97 piece is required for whatever, any use, right? So-
Right,
Right.
either way.
Right.
Yep. Okay?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
See ya.
We've got some showstoppers in this
Yeah,
process,
I mean,
multiple
just
points
for
of
four-
failure.
Just for 4 units, just shows you how hard it is. It's
Well-
unbelievable.
It's- yeah,
Very difficult.
Yes.
fascinating.
Okay, what haven't we talked about yet?
We're in good
Trail
shape.
easement?
We're so ahead
Yeah, we're
of
ahead of
schedule.
schedule.
We're so ahead of schedule.
All right, so there's an administrative error in this, but we think it's a low-risk administrative error. So this is not the Now Communities Trails easement, it's the 225 Lowell
That's what I
Street
thought.
easement,
Yep. we
which
had-
is in the packet.
Okay.
In the 225, the reason why I say it's a low-threat error is because town meeting did approve this easement. So we're
Ready. So what are we doing? here
crossing our
tonight?
T's here.
Hello, Ashley.
Yes.
Hey, Ashley.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for.
So tonight we're endeavoring to wrap up a trail swap that was initiated at the 2020.
Can you introduce yourself? I know
Oh,
we all
I'm
know
so
you.
sorry. My name is Ashley Cody. I'm your town clerk. So I'm looking to finalize an easement swap that was introduced at the 2020 special town meeting. The intent was to swap easements between town property at 59 Morse Road and 225 Lowell Street. What ended up happening is after the town meeting, neither of the easements were acted on or recorded because there was a lapse in town staff, so it kind of got dropped. And somebody just happened to notice, 5 years later, wait a minute, nothing's been recorded about this. So they reached out to me and said, can you follow up and find out what happened? So I reached out to town council, found that there was, a ball dropped with staff turnover, and also there was a typographical error in the original vote. Instead of referencing 225 Lowell Street, it referenced 257 Lowell Street with the wrong lot number. So the first part had been correct. The part of 225 Lowell Street giving the easement to 59 Morse Road was correct. That easement was acted on after that and has been recorded. This is now the second half where you'll be signing off on 59 Morse Road, town-owned land, granting an easement to 225 Lowell Street.
Okay.
Once that is signed off on, I'll ensure that town council files it at the Registry of Deeds, and that will complete the swap from 2020.
Okay.
Town meeting vote.
Okay.
So you need to discuss it, vote it, and sign it.
Okay. I don't know that we have any.
Yeah, it
steps,
does, I
but-
don't know what.
It sounds
Sounds-
pretty cut and dry. We're fixing an error, right?
It's pretty much an administrative move to fix an error from the 2020 vote and to complete the easements as they were voted.
Glad you found it.
Oh, it wasn't me. It was Steve Tobin from Trails. He brought
Oh,
it to my
Trails.
attention. So
Oh,
good diligence on his end.
Yeah.
All right, do you want me to make a motion then?
Yeah, can we have a motion?
Move to accept the grant of easement for 255.
Oh no,
Lowell-
225.
It says
Sorry, the
255.
Yeah, this thing is.
everybody that touches it gets the numbers
not
wrong.
wanna be
It's
done right.
uncanny. It's uncanny.
Move to accept.
I'm
the
looking at a
grant
different
of
one that
easement
says-
for easement for 225 Lowell Street, 59 Morris Road, as described in the agreement in accordance with the town meeting vote of May 18th, 2026. Is that right?
Can we have a second?
Second. Go ahead.
Who seconded? Dave.
Scott. doesn't
Scott.
matter.
Okay, can we have a second?
I'm
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it. I think you have what
Thank
you
you
need,
very
Ashley.
much. I appreciate
Thank you
you
for coming.
helping me and wrap this up and getting it all.
Thanks for coming
Oh,
in.
absolutely.
I'll give you the hard copy for signatures
Oh,
here.
you gotta sign, okay.
Wow. Look at this. We've gone through everything.
Did we open the
Oh,
warrant?
yeah.
The warrant is,
Yep, we did
okay, go ahead
that.
and start with Dave.
We have to just the minutes.
And the town
On
TA
the
report.
TA report and the minutes.
We only have half of the TA report.
Right, we have, no,
And
we
the
have to do
minutes.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing fine.
We're doing great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley, I think that's your pen right here.
Julie, is George Zakon's chair again? I asked that
Yes,
question
he
last
is.
time. They haven't voted yet? Okay. They've got a
We'll
lot.
talk about that in,
There's a lot on their plate.
Thank you very much.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
everything. Oh, we don't have Rebecca, is that okay?
That's okay, as long as it's a quorum of the board, that's
Yep.
totally
Thank you.
acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks for
you.
waiting.
Thanks, Ashley, for coming.
Great night, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, review of warrants and minutes. I think that's that and the other half of the TA report. And that's all we've got left, and liaison reports. So, review of warrants and minutes.
Well, I thought the minutes were the actual goal, so I'm not gonna be, shows you how closely I was reading them.
I had some changes in them and I got them to Gretchen and she changed them in the latest version, so.
Okay.
I trust your judgment.
Well, one of them was kind of interesting. It was pejorative. It said, you know how we have AI write these now?
Yep.
It
Yes.
said, Travis, speaking out of order. out of
Ooh,
turn."
see, you made it, see, this is what, once you start correcting minutes, the AI gets angry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that wasn't the AI.
Yeah, there is no AI, it's just Gretchen.
Right, right.
It's just the scapegoat.
Okay.
All right, do you want to
Can we
make
get a
motion?
motion for the warrants and the minutes?
Do you have the
I'm,
motion?
well, it's just, those are the two dates.
I move that we approve the minutes from June 23rd, 2026, July 7th, 2026, and our goals meeting of July, was that July 7th?
7th.
7th, okay. Yep.
As provided
As
by,
provided by,
what, her email today, or? the latest ones? How
The
do we
latest draft
identify?
provided via email.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it. We have approved our warrants and minutes. Ryan, you want to take us through the second half of your TA report?
Yes, this is my town administrator report for July 14th, 2026. We're going to ask you to do a few things here and ask your forgiveness on some of the agenda. So a lot of these last minute things happen in July. So although we're into goals and things, there's a lot of year-end closing and trying to finish up town meeting. So my apologies for that, but we're getting through it, and there'll be a couple things for you to discuss and talk about here. So for my coffee hour, unfortunately, it was just me on the patio. It was very sad. It hasn't happened in a while, but we had town hall staff come down, and I had discussions with each of them, trying to take advantage of that hour. So I don't have anything from the community for you, but we did use our time well. In terms of our HR report, we do have a couple resignations to unfortunately give you. First is Kelly Callow, our health director, had a better opportunity. I wouldn't say better, she might, in Littleton to serve as their health director, so she's moving on. And then Officer Rob Ludwig, one of our great patrol officers, is moving on mostly for family reasons.
I feel like we just pinned him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he's been here a year, but we pinned him late, and then he got a great opportunity. So he was great. I enjoyed working with him, and I wish him the best. He is a young child and is looking for some work-life balance. I want to thank Aubrey wants to thank our custodial team at Carlisle Public Schools for their flexibility and understanding as we transition them to town positions. So that's been a lot of work. We're working with them to identify differences in HR policy to make sure that we're taking care of those employees and that they're comfortable with their time tracking and other things that we don't think about until we have to do them. And then we have scheduled our annual employee training day for Wednesday, October 19th, so we will be closing town hall that day. This is an opportunity to make sure that everybody's trained.
Is August 19th or October 19th?
August 19th.
Thank you.
Did I say October?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm tired. Make sure everyone's trained on best practices, and then we go over professional development in the afternoon, and we tour various parts of the community. I was going to do the rock that we mentioned earlier, but there's a group going out to see that because of the interest in this bog house. So we're going to find another place of interest. Hopefully a completed police station, but we'll see. For department updates and information, the state budget has been signed through the conference committee stage and has been signed since this was written. So our state aid total is higher than we projected, which means there'll be a slight decrease in our projection of the tax rate. And that does offset some changes. A lot of it is estimate. Also, the supplemental budget included $144,000 for Carlisle to offset costs of winter weather. We had talked about this with you before. So this is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to go into our Chapter 90 as we thought. The way that they're processing this one is you have to use the money to offset the direct costs, or it goes into the general fund to not close until 2028. So Kelly looked at this, and I looked at it, and we decided the best way to do this would be to use it to pay off the snow and ice deficit from this year, so that all of the transfers and savings that you had done would then turn into free cash as of July 1, so a couple weeks ago. So this allows us to use it now or in this coming year instead of in 2 years. And it's what it was intended for. So in order to do that, you would need to vote on some transfers that the Finance Committee has already seen. I'm going to call that up for you. All right, this is weird. There we go. Sorry, give me 1 second. It is in the latest version of the packet. Okay, I got it. All right, so you had initially voted to transfer money out of town hall and general expense, zoning board of appeals, and the town accountant's line, and move that to cover the snow and ice deficit. So instead of that, we're just covering the snow and ice deficit as we discussed. One of the reasons why is the deficit itself wasn't exactly 144,000, but the overtime and employee costs, which come from a different line, we were able to use this money for. We vetted this all with the state. All of this is legal maneuvering. We made sure that we called them to talk about what we were trying to do so that it was compliant with what the intention of the RAP funding was. So we feel very good about this recommendation. And if you do too, we have a suggested motion up there for you that would undo some of the transfers and allow us what we think is the best financial option.
I'll make the motion. And I spoke with Kelly about this last week or 2 weeks ago, when we were signing the warrants, and she gave an overview of this. So I'm certainly confident it's all being handled appropriately and it's a smart way to do it. So I move that the select board vote pursuant to MGL Chapter 44, Section 33B, approve year-end transfers between various line items of the fiscal year 2026 budget as detailed in the memo from the town accountant dated June 26, 2026.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. All in favor, let's do a voice vote. Say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it.
And once again, thanks to Kelly and Sandy for their continued diligence and good work on this stuff.
Yeah, this was it was a good problem. The state came through with some funding for a tough winter, and this will allow us to not have that deficit and again use free cash for other priorities in the town, like roads.
And this is also one of those things, if you're not paying attention, you miss, and you don't, I mean, you get the funding, but this tactic is a reflection of them noticing it and saying, hey, so kudos to them.
Yes. Okay, the regional dispatch grant, I alluded to this at your last meeting, but the town of Concord was notified by State 911, their development grant funding source was not approved. State 911 let them know this. So according to a report from Stephen Johnson, who came and presented to you, the Director of Communications from Concord, the decision was based solely on limited funding availability, not the merits of the proposal. So it was a highly competitive process with more than 139 million in requests competing for 50 million in available funding. State 911 noted that the Collins Center remains available at no cost to assist municipalities. We have a meeting next week to discuss this at the management level to see if this is something we're going to bring to you or not. So as of now, we do not have the grant that we thought we were going to get. We were going to discuss another option, and then either way, we're going to bring it back to you for future decision. So do we apply for a different grant? Do we wait for next year's cycle, or is there another option?
Okay.
That stinks.
An update on your solicitation bylaw application. I attached the application that the police is using per your vote, just for your awareness. So this is what's going out in the community, and anyone who has any issues should contact the police department about solicitation, as they should be following the bylaw that was passed by town meeting.
And
Set at $25.
Yes. Yep.
And so just so people are aware, if someone knocks on your door, they should have a permit.
They should.
So you should ask for the permit, and they should show you the
It
permit.
should be worn on their outer
Okay.
garment, or however it's worded, so you don't even have to ask for it.
Good.
So that provides a level of safety and allows our police to better do their job.
Great.
Our custodial services bid, we worked through our analysis of custodial service bid. I'm liking this trend, but it was a positive financial outcome for us. We worked with the lowest bidder today to make sure they understand the parameters of what we need. So what's happening at CPS as you transition to managing the manager of facilities is we are retaining current staff, great custodial staff, but as vacancies occur, we are replacing them with an agency. And the reason for this is it has been extremely difficult to recruit custodians and keep them. So it's been a little bit of a merry-go-round. There's a lot of training, and as you know, employment costs are the most expensive part of our budget. So we've been working with an agency for the last 5 months, and one of our school positions, it's gone very well. They're quarried, they're sorried, they're checked and background checked just like any school employee. And if they call out, they're replaced. So it's a good solution. The things we've had to work through are snow removal, not yet, but we're thinking that through. And then also weekends and other details that our custodians do, things that we don't think about. But we've gone through that, and we think we have a good relationship here with a provider. But we're going to continue to monitor that and see if this is a way to go. Obviously, from a financial standpoint, the biggest part of this is that we do not have to provide benefits to the agency, and overall, the cost of the agency is cheaper than the employee without benefits. So we could see some significant reduction and improving of services, which we also think is very important. All right, very much switching gears here. I got a letter not too long ago from a resident of Concord Street who sent me a Historical Society newsletter from 2023 talking about the Goddess of Liberty, which is the name of the statue, honoring the 13 soldiers from Carlisle who gave their lives in the Civil War. And she was right when she said it's very dirty. So we had Jim look at this and ask a reputable cleaning company what they thought. We put the amount in your packet. We don't have a budget for this, so this would have to become from your expense line, but we think it's the right thing to do to clean up the Goddess of Liberty. So assuming that you agree, we'll do that. We're asking you to vote on that, or if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. I did not solve this by Memorial Day like she asked, but other than that, the letter is the reason for this, which we
So we need to
appreciate.
vote on that?
$17.50, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we get a motion on that?
I don't know if there is.
There's not one, that's the thing. We're kind of-
I move we approve $1,750 for the cleaning of the Goddess of Liberty in the Carlisle Rotary.
Second.
Thank you very much. Let's do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay, the ayes have it.
Thank you for the information on the Goddess of Liberty, too. I'd forgotten.
I enjoyed researching her.
Yeah.
And I had also noticed she's getting a little dirty there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You get enough
Did
cars.
she ever hold anything?
Her hand is kind of like broken off. too.
Oh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We'll look at
Oh,
that as
that's next year's project.
well. We'll be voting on that as well.
Yeah.
I will look into that. That's important. Okay, a couple things we've already talked about tonight, but not in this medium where people might be listening. The special town meeting timeline is now set. The special town meeting is November 16th. The warrant was open tonight, July 14th, and will close on August 25th. Bylaw language is due to me by September 28th and will be finalized by October 5th for posting of the warrant on October 28th. So we're excited about town meeting. Additionally, we talked tonight about the annual maintenance, road maintenance project. We received very favorable numbers for all of our roads, which is Heald, Pope, Southwest, Judy Farm Road, some drainage just above Audubon Lane, North Road, Indian Hill Road, and Autumn Lane, and the Select Board approved a total of $738,339 in road maintenance funding, leaving us a reserve of a little over $350,000 for next year's project. So we're excited to begin that. It could start as early as the first week in August. Switching to the elevator modernization project, that started. It feels like we've been talking about that for 18 months or so. That will end in time for school to begin, so about less than 40 days from now. Next will be the Carlisle Town Hall, which is about 45 days of work, which ends in around Christmas, which is depressing to think about. And then Gleason Public Library will go last and be incorporated into their renovation project. So 3 big projects that were approved a couple years ago, starting now. For the Connected Carlisle Sidewalk project, we had a meeting today with our CPC chair to talk about different ways to fund some of the ADA accessibility that was identified in the Diamond Park design process. Also, thank you to Representative Simon Cataldo. We were able to include a $200K bond earmark request in the House version of the Economic Development Bill. So this has not necessarily passed yet, and if it did pass, the governor would have to authorize the bond funding, but it's in there in case that passes. Usually these things take over a year to process, so maybe we'll have some funding for there as well. But as you can see, we're trying in every way to find money, and I do appreciate Representative Cataldo working on that. And you were the one, Dave, that brought that to my attention, because Rep. Cataldo's office was trying to call me all day, and I was busy with stuff. And
Yeah.
then our new select board member told me to call him, and we got that done. So thanks to the team for all of that. No real updates on CPA projects for your building construction projects. I do recommend taking a look at the police station. The final excavation was done, so we're done dealing with dirt. And you can see some structures going up, and there's been a lot of displacement of staff inside, which means that work is progressing too. So the project is really speeding up. It's still behind schedule, but the contractor is doing a good job trying to catch up to that timeline. We are still under budget, which is an update I know you enjoy.
And sorry, what was Grant High School?
That was that's what almost everyone calls CPS. They think it's a high school. So that was just I clipped that from the contractor's timeline, but it's
okay.
actually CPS. And misidentifying the Grant building as the entire building. But
Oh, I see.
I promise you they know where the elevator is.
Okay. And how to fix one.
Yeah, yes, we're sure of that. I don't want to say we hope. For the fire station renovation, all the contracts are signed with the OPM, the architect, and the contractor. We've secured all the necessary documentation, insurance, and we expect a timeline within a month, with construction actually starting within a month. So that'll be really exciting. The DPW renovation, we met with the selected designer, HKA, to finalize a design proposal. Thank you to Travis for helping with that as well. We're comfortable that it is the right amount of money and scope to match what has been talked about thus far. The committee is going to be taking a field trip to the Hudson DPW, which HKA designed, to get a feel for what they did and what's being recommended, which I think is great. And then they're going to meet with you soon to talk about the things that you need to understand before designing starts for real. So any recommended changes or anything within the project that you might care about. So that's coming soon. And then lastly, for building projects, the library renovation has begun as well. All of the contracts are signed and insurances have been obtained, and the library has moved out. So they moved to River Street, number 1 River Street, and they expect to open back up on July 22nd, so a week from now. So they moved the entire library to a new location, set up the new location within 2 weeks. It's hard not to think of what a great leader Martha is to be able to accomplish all of that.
And as I understand it, she did a transition to Google-based systems and launched a summer reading program at the same time.
Yes.
Wow.
She is very talented. Some recognition here, you'll recognize the names. So first, Officer Ludwig. He joined the Carlisle Police Department in September 2025. Prior to joining our department, he served in the Mass Air National Guard from 2009 to 2015, and with the Drake Police Department from 2014 to 2025. So if you were to go, like, it's Army and then Air Force, so that still counts. Although Officer Ludwig's time with the Carlisle Police Department was brief, he quickly established himself as a dedicated and dependable member of our team. Very strong work ethic, super positive attitude, helped his officers. We meet with everybody when they're leaving, and it was definitely a life opportunity for him. He did enjoy working with the department. We'll miss his professionalism, and maybe he'll come back one day. And then Kelly Callow, the health director, as we noted in Aubrey's report, we're losing a very talented health director. She wasn't here very long. She did bring a lot of professionalism and work ethic and increased health programming, and worked with me and others to digitize records and modernize processes, and definitely worked a lot with Janine to try to bring the Board of Health up to speed. So she leaves a very robust agenda for Janine, who is right now filling in. So we appreciate Kelly and her time here. Some discussions for you upcoming: a ADA transition proposal or discussion, a report. This is all of your accessibility needs around town. Just things to think about in terms of capital investment, and it definitely allows us to have some grant opportunities. So you'll get that presentation. We got to talk about early voting hours, as we do around any election. We're going to have the fire department and the DPW come in, those committees, and talk to you as well. So a lot to do, and I think we identified a couple more things tonight that I took notes on. So unless there's any questions, that's my report for this evening.
Good report.
Oh, one more, sorry. I knew there was one more. I could feel it. In the latest version of the packet, the library identified some furniture as they moved out that they no longer want. It is of almost no value, so they plan on mostly getting rid of it, but by law, you have to vote it surplus.
Okay.
So the vote would be to declare the library furniture as identified in your packet as surplus.
Just missed it.
Yeah, I have it here. I was looking for a motion. There's no motions anywhere. We just
A lot of stuff got added today.
On the fly, yes. Okay, can we have a motion on that?
What was the-
Anyone?
So is a motion to declare the furniture surplus and
The furniture identified in the packet as surplus.
the furniture identified in the packet as surplus.
Great, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Okay.
To explain that, procurement law does not allow us to get rid of anything without you declaring it as such, so that nothing is sold either unethically or in a way that wouldn't maximize value to the taxpayer. That's why you have to do that.
So is it being sold or given away, or where's it going? Do we know yet?
A combination of both.
That's it.
I mean, armchairs in use 6 days a week since 2000.
Not super popular.
Don't smell them.
You could take it for your office. Go back to.
Okay, what else was there tonight that we have not covered? Is there anything else?
Looks like we have liaison reports, community input, and then we can adjourn.
Okay. Any liaison reports tonight?
Question, when do we want, Historical Commission is meeting tomorrow. I sent them the dates. When do we want them to meet with us? August?
Let's hear how their language is shaping up for the warrant.
I think you want them as soon as possible.
Okay. I'll see what their availability is for the
First
next
meeting in
couple of
August.
meetings, yeah. Okay, not the next meeting, but, okay. I'll check in and see what they can do.
Speaking of that, are there other priorities, like thinking about that? Like which committees?
I think conservation we have to get in here,
Yeah.
like, big time.
Well, no, that's what
And, you know, Megan too, because I think the big question I have is for the whole land use thing is like, someone's gotta like crack the whip on that and run the process. So my question is, who is that person or persons?
So we did assign Sarah. She is our sustainability coordinator, but
Okay.
works as a land use assistant. She is running that process.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, I'm heavily involved because it does face a lot of resistance. So Sarah is not trying to dictate how anything happens. She's trying to referee a
Right.
very difficult process. So as much support as we can provide her as she's doing that would help you accomplish your goals.
Well, I think we need to find the balance between, the only way we're gonna make tangible progress is to, at some level, drive it forward. And if, you know, I think, for some parcels, you wanna have a very open, collaborative dialogue, and for others, it's like, here's what we think we should do. So I think helping Sarah kind of sift through that and prioritize is something that certainly the Conservation and Land Use Committee should be doing, and we should be getting updates on. I think you have to be very strategic with this one.
Yeah. Let me draft up a few thoughts, send them to Gretchen to disperse to the team, and then maybe we take it from there. Let's define the process first. Yeah?
Define what process?
Yeah.
Around the goal for land use, that big meaty. Did that?
My concern is it's not it's making sure Conservation Commission knows this is a priority and it needs to be a focus, and that they're supporting the process and dedicating time in their meetings.
Mm.
So that's why I'm asking, who's the chair, who can we talk to, who can I talk to and reach out and start? Because I think their business can become very tactical, and we got to do this week, and then these, sometimes the longer term strategic things, they don't have as much time for.
Right.
So, and Sarah, like, she's going to need the support of staff in the various committees too. So she needs to be getting support and some direction when needed from multiple parties, so it's complicated.
My strategic feedback to you on that goal is the CONSCOM did create a process. They did decide where to go and
Yep.
how it could be structured. And they picked what they thought was the simplest piece of land or one that was a good test case. And again, it was 2 hours of discussion. So
Right.
I'm not sure there's such thing to the community as a parcel that is not of interest. So there's a difference between what I think the select board would be focused on, the big political, financial issues, but each piece is heavily, like people care about each piece
I'm
a lot.
surprised that, okay, so I live near Fox Hill, and that is our sidewalk into town, that trail. I mean, it is very heavily used. So the fact that they didn't think it was going to be of interest, it's of interest to that neighborhood for sure.
Yeah.
So
And I think my point is that's how everyone feels about the piece of land near them.
Their neighborhood, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
again, you have to take a big project like that and break it into different buckets, and there, there's gonna be, say, 10 parcels that are gonna be highly contestable, maybe there's 10 that are like not, and, or some we wanna potentially change use, others are like status quo, and you can populate the plan. I don't think every parcel has to go through a huge process like that, and I think strategically, Sarah, working with whomever, needs to kind of triage the parcels and put some structure around it. So we're not just waiting for the whole thing to be done, because, and to your point, like with the bog, if it's, we want to do X, Y, or Z, it's like, well, what's the new plan? No new plan? What's the old plan? Agriculture? Well, we have nowhere to go with this until you update the plan, right?
Mhm.
And so there needs to be some urgency around this too.
Okay. Okay. Any other liaison reports?
I would just ask, because we did our goal setting, ask our town administrator, are you comfortable, we haven't finalized our goals, but we got one step closer. Are you comfortable with these goals as far as, do they give enough clarity, and do you have enough sense of direction, and what could we do to support you to accomplish these things? Is there something we're missing? It's a broad, open-ended
It
question.
sure is.
It's early, Ryan, we have time.
I'll provide some notes to you. I think Scott just identified a comment that I had earlier about how much work. There's no way you can do that in 1 year.
Right.
The complete streets is also another
Yep.
sneaky. I think if you put that on an agenda, you'd have a full room. I think people care about that more than, it might be in the top 5 of things that I've dealt with that people care about here in Carlisle. But it's a, like I said, a decade-long project probably. So managing that expectation and trying to chunk it out, like what can be accomplished by this board and what you're gonna pass on in the future is a really fun but difficult conversation.
Okay.
And it's one of those projects where if you ask anybody what the project is, and you ask each person would have a different vision. So some people picture it as paths, some people picture it as ADA accessible sidewalks, some people picture it as bike lanes, right? So it has a different look in everyone's head, which is what makes it complicated.
Okay. Any other liaison reports? Dave? No. Okay. And my only add was about what I already mentioned about the library. Not only did they move, they transitioned to Google, and they launched the summer reading program all at one time.
I have one last thing, and I'm
Yes.
circling back to the first thing we did tonight, because I found my notes, which I couldn't find earlier. On the appointments, remember I read that long thing about moving for the Conservation Restriction Advisory Committee?
Yes.
I had a question on that, and I'm putting it out to the board just because I read it again. As we said, 3 members shall be at large. The Planning Board, Conservation Commission, Trails Committee, Carlisle Conservation Foundation shall each be entitled to nominate a designee to the committee as a fully participating member. And my question, and that's what we voted, but my question was a fully participating member the same thing as a voting member?
Yes.
Why don't we just say voting member, so there's no ambiguity of that? That was my question. We've already voted it, but I just want to be clear
That's a voting member.
that's a voting member.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
Good
get that
point.
in there early.
Okay.
So, because somebody may ask someday, I participate, but I can't vote.
Okay.
I'm not a liaison, but at the planning board meeting last night, there was standing room only for the Now Communities
Yes.
animal rehabilitation
Yes.
thing. So I do think that you should watch or at least engage with whoever on the planning board about, so the community interest is extremely high. Much-
Yeah, it was a good meeting. I was watching it.
Yeah.
Want to tell us about it? Anything?
You know, people were most worried about traffic. They're worried about animal release, where it takes place. Doesn't seem like they're doing much to the structure. They're not doing much to the land besides building pens. It all seems very minimal. I actually drove by the property today. I was the only car there. I'm like, I don't think the traffic thing's too big of a deal, but it's, you know, it's set back. You can't tell. You know, there are people who are abutters who are, you know, have a lot of questions, and you know, they want to know about the traffic, but there are other people who are for it and felt it was very Carlisle-esque to have such a facility. They do release animals time to time in Great Brook. Yeah, it was a full room.
Funny.
Wow. What's the
Multiple
property? Where is it?
It's North Road.
North Road?
So, yeah, it's a residentially zoned area.
Yeah.
And they're asking for what's called the Dover Amendment, which is the ability to provide education to the public. So it would allow a rehabilitation center to be in a residential area.
And it's 10 acres. It's a lot. I mean, yeah, it's not 2 acres. It's a lot, and there's a lot of buffer around the other properties. Long driveway, a lot of parking, and someone will always be on site with the animals.
Okay.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get public feedback about it.
Okay. Thank you for the heads up.
What's just the process? Is that that's not a town meeting thing? Okay.
Okay. Any community input? Hearing none. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
Okay. All in favor, say
Aye.
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 Aye. Any no votes? Okay. We are adjourned and it's 9:46. Thank you, everyone.